Go.
The lights are shining bright, it's time to take the field. The golden boot is here, the passion's revealed. On Dog TV, we're bringing you the best. College football's finest, no need for the rest. Stream starts soon. Feel the energy, the crowds on their feet. Every play, every moment, the thrill, the beat. The golden boot podcast, we're ready to go. On Dog TV, the ultimate show. We're kicking off the season with fire in our veins. The golden boot podcast, it's time to reign. From the tailgates to the touchdowns, we got it all. Breaking down the games, the rise and the fall. With the hosts you love and the insights you need. The golden boot's a champion indeed. Straight start soon. Feel the energy, the crowds on their feet. Every play, every moment, the thrill, the beat. The golden boot podcast, we're ready to go. On Dog TV, the ultimate show. We're kicking off the season with fire in our veins. The golden boot podcast, it's time to reign. Straight start soon. To the touchdowns, we've got it all. Breaking down the games, the rise and the fall. With the hosts you love and the insights you need. The golden boot's a champion indeed. Straight starts soon. Feel the energy, the crowd on their feet. Every play, every moment, the thrill, the beat. The golden boot podcast, we're ready to go. On Dog TV, the ultimate show. We're kicking off the season with fire in our veins. The golden boot podcast, it's time to reign. The countdown's on, the time is near. The golden boot podcast is finally here. From kickoff to the final score, we're bringing you the heart, the passion, and more. Whoa. The golden boot podcast, we're ready to go. On Dog TV, the ultimate show. We're kicking off the season with fire in our veins. The golden boot podcast, it's time to reign. The golden boot podcast, where legends are made. On Dog TV, the football parade. Join the roar, the glory, the fame. The golden boot podcast, remember the name. Straight start soon. The Golden Boot Podcast, where legends are made. On Dog TV, the football parade. Join the roar, the glory, the fame. The Golden Boot Podcast, remember the name. Straight start soon. Straight start soon. The lights are shining bright, it's time to take the field. The golden boot is here, the passion's revealed. On Dog TV, we're bringing you the best. College football's finest, no need for the rest. Stream starts soon. Feel the energy, the crowds on their feet. Every play, every moment, the thrill, the beat. The golden boot podcast, we're ready to go. On Dog TV, the ultimate show. We're kicking off the season with fire in our veins. The golden boot podcast, it's time to reign. Straight start soon. From the tailgates to the touchdowns, we got it all. Breaking down the games, the rise and the fall. With the hosts you love and the insights you need. The golden boot's a champion indeed. Straight start soon. Feel the energy, the crowds on their feet. Every play, every moment, the thrill, the beat. The golden boot podcast, we're ready to go. On Dog TV, the ultimate show. We're kicking off the season with fire in our veins. The golden boot podcast, it's time to reign. Straight start soon. To the touchdowns, we've got it all. Breaking down the games, the rise and the fall. With the hosts you love and the insights you need. The golden boot's a champion indeed. Straight start soon. Feel the energy, the crowd on their feet. Every play, every moment, the thrill, the beat. The golden boot podcast, we're ready to go. On Dog TV, the ultimate show. We're kicking off the season with fire in our veins. The golden boot podcast, it's time to reign. The countdown's on, the time is near. The golden boot podcast is finally here. From kickoff to the final score, we're bringing you the heart, the passion, and more. Whoa. The Golden Boot Podcast, we're ready to go. On Dog TV, the ultimate show. podcast where legends are made. On Dog TV, the football parade. Join the roar, the glory, the fame. The Golden Boot Podcast, remember the name. Straight Talk soon. Straight Talk soon. Shining bright, it's time to take the field. The Golden Boot is here, the passion's revealed. On Dog TV, we're bringing you the best. College football's finest, no need for the rest. Streams start soon. Feel the energy, the crowd on their feet. Every play, every moment, the thrill of the beat. The Golden Boot Podcast are ready to go. On Dog TV, the ultimate show. We're kicking off the season with fire in our veins. The Golden Boot Podcast, it's time to reign. From the tailgates to the touchdowns, we got it all. Breaking down the games, the rise and the fall. With the hosts you love and the insights you need. The Golden Boot's a champion indeed. Stream starts soon. Feel the energy, the crowd's on their feet. Every play, every moment, the thrill of the beat. The Golden Boot Podcast, we're ready to go. On Dog TV, the ultimate show. We're kicking off the season with fire in our veins. The Golden Boot Podcast, it's time to reign. Stream starts soon. To the touchdowns, we've got it all. Breaking down the games, the rise and the fall. With the hosts you love and the insights you need. The Golden Boot's a champion indeed. Stream starts soon. Feel the energy, the crowd on their feet. Every play, every moment, the thrill of the beat. The Golden Boot Podcast, we're ready to go. On Dog TV, the ultimate show. We're kicking off the season with fire in our veins. The Golden Boot Podcast, it's time to reign. The countdown's on, the time is near. The Golden Boot Podcast is finally here. From kickoff to the final score, we're bringing you the heart, the passion, and more. The Golden Boot Podcast, we're ready to go. On Dog TV, the ultimate show. We're kicking off the season with fire in our veins. The Golden Boot Podcast, it's time to reign. The Golden Boot Podcast, the legends are made. On Dog TV, the football parade. Join the roar, the glory, the fame. The Golden Boot Podcast, remember the name. The Golden Boot Podcast, where legends are made. On Dog TV, the football parade. Join the roar, the glory, the fame. The Golden Boot Podcast, remember the name. Stream starts soon. Stream starts soon. Shining bright, it's time to take the field. The Golden Boot is here, the passion's revealed. On Dog TV.
The Golden Boot Podcast is on the air!
From the cookie room to the hardwood, down to the court, with the ultimate sports show. We give you all the support, from football to basketball, from baseball to the rest. We got the Golden Boots, we promise you the best.
Yo, what's going on? This is Jake Pester, former LSU running back, here to tell you about a brand new college football podcast, the Golden Boot Podcast.
We break down the plays and celebrate the scores. We're the Golden Boot Podcast.
The Golden Boot Podcast, Mondays and Fridays at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, only on the Dogs Media Network. Stay golden.
What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Golden Boot Podcast. Tonight we are joined by Roane State head baseball coach Cam Hamsley. Coach, how you doing tonight?
Awesome, guys. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. I was going to ask you guys, are you guys able to get Connor Bowden on at some point as well? Are you guys still planning that?
So he will be coming on probably on Friday now.
Nice.
He had a scheduling conflict, so
good. No, that's good. I hope you guys can get him on. That'll be an awesome one. Hopefully I can do well enough to get people to tune in again for him. He'll be exciting. I saw he was, Columbia Central guy, but obviously being at MTSU. But his head coach played with my assistant coach.
Oh, okay.
So know of him pretty well. Followed him. I hope he gets to get a role this year for MTSU because he can play some outfield. He can absolutely track it down out there.
I saw some highlights of his, and I was beyond impressed, to say the least. Really was.
He's a physical kid. He'll swing it well, just dynamic. But no, that'll be cool. But yeah, I'm awesome. I'm excited to be here. I know it's been a while since we caught up, and
so you want to hear something really funny? Actually, the last time you were on this show, that episode actually set a record for our highest views ever. And I think we hit, Chris, like 70,000 views on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane.
I paid a lot of people to go watch that.
So it happened to come, I kid you not, it happened to come the same night when all the rumors of Jim Harbaugh jumping to the NFL came out. And we had shared a little bit about it, so then everybody was hopping on after, and it just all came together. But everybody was watching the interview, and that's when they were hopping on. So we were like ignoring the comments because we were like, we're not talking about this right now. And then
I
when you hopped off, they just kept coming on, and we're like, okay, let's address it, I guess. But yeah. So hey, you bring the views is all I know.
Well, maybe tonight we'll find another issue that just really strikes people, and they'll come and start commenting. We'll have to just make the whole podcast about whatever issue that is.
Absolutely. So I'm going to start this interview off in the most common sense way I think possible. Okay. Obviously, each year for you in your head coaching career, it seems like you're going upstairs because it gets better and better each year. And I know you're happy about the team you have coming in this year. What would you say the difference is today versus where you were 1 year ago?
1 year ago, I would say the difference is I'd been through a lot and learned, I guess, in my first 2 years of being a head coach. And I'd learned a lot of what I thought I knew and honestly, a lot of stuff I didn't know that I learned that were just so important. And I brought that into a team that, one, we got a new indoor facility. So I felt like the roster and what we're able to build and also the talent we had were good. But I would say probably this time last year, I was really excited to get going because I felt like I had a group of guys that really, for the most part, believed in, the vision that I guess me and my assistant coach were trying to set. And that's really what it's about because at the end of the day, you want them to realize whatever they want to, whatever they get to basically define what a good season is or what being successful is for themselves and for our team. And so I can say it till I'm blue in the face, but if you have your high standards and you make them stick to it, but then they really take it upon themselves, that's what matters. And I feel like last year I thought, you know what? I think we got some guys that are starting to really invest and believe in what we're doing. And I say that only learning because the year before last, I had to make some really hard decisions that just in my heart, I felt like were best. And it had to do with, maybe I didn't feel like I had complete investment or belief in what we're doing. And that's for me, I want my guys to know how much I care about them. But for me, the most important part as a young coach is having guys that are completely invested in the vision that I have and then kind of taking that and making it their own because I can't play, So I would say encouraged, but this year it's kind of that next step, which may lead into your next question. Well, what's different is this year I feel like we have that even more, It's okay, now we're in year 2. I'm very blessed because I got to start somewhere to kind of build and get my feet under me a little bit and fail immensely, and the failing's not done. I'm sure I've got a ton left to do, but to be able to build on that, that's it. This year's team, I think they are even more invested in, okay, we saw it work last year. We had some success, and now let's just take it and go again. Let's make it even more. Let's really even commit to that. So I'm excited.
Okay. So I noticed a little addition this year, the facial hair.
Yeah.
So what's it going to take your team to get the facial hair removed?
Oh, man. Well, we actually start out with Yankee Law. We start out in the fall, Yankee Law, and when they come back in the spring, we can start back by rule. We can start back on January 10th, and I'll tell them that day, hey, it's a Friday. I'll say, you got until Monday. You need to tighten it up. It doesn't. It should be no more than a 1 on the facial hair. And if you're even in doubt, if you're showing a little bit, it's no good. So we'll tighten that up just for the sake of being in order. First question they ask me that's what the new question asks. Well, Coach, can we do a mustache? Cause the Yankees, they started doing mustache, and I'm like, yes, you can do that, but they haven't won a World Series since they started doing that. Mustache, I always plug that in for them. But yeah, we'll all be tightened up and trying to look, clean and put together. Because I think it helps organize our lives. It's little things that matter to me. I wouldn't want to send one of my guys into an interview. That's what I tell them. I'm like, I don't want to send you into an interview for a job that you need and you have scruffed up, and your hair is below your neck,
Mm-hmm.
you haven't shaved all this. And I'm like, you don't do that, so that's where it comes from. So hopefully what happens is we do that to start. We're tightening it up kind of through, and then about midway through, what you're hoping is you can kind of loosen it up. You can let them have a little extra, flair, or, just maybe allow them to loosen up. But if stuff starts going awry, you got to flip it in and say, hey, Yankee Law, we're back to Yankee Law on Monday, because we've gotten out of hand. We've absolutely lost ourselves. I'll be like, it's my fault because I've let us absolutely turn into a bunch of animals, So I love that question, though. It's a good question.
Okay. So let me ask you, I know that one of the bigger roles in your job is getting kids to the next level.
Yeah.
And I know last season you had a few guys that you were pushing for on social media to get them noticed. Could you tell us where some of your guys ended up? Yeah,
absolutely. Last year was a great year for, a lot of reasons, obviously winning all those games and stuff that, we hadn't won that many games in 20 years or something like that. And then the player wise, I think I had 12 of 15 guys move on in that in that class that was graduating, move on to play at a 4-year school. So I've got one of my pitchers that went to go be part of Tennessee Tech's program. I have a pitcher that went to go be a part of ETSU, East Tennessee State, with my student assistant, Joey. He went to ETSU, and he's one of their student assistants now. So he's getting to do a lot with, I think, the video side of things. So that's pretty exciting. And then I've got an infielder that's at Trevecca up in Nashville, closer to you guys. I have an infielder that went to Northwestern State in Louisiana.
Nice.
I think they play – I'm trying to think what that conference is – the Southland. They play in the Southland, I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. I've got an infielder at Bryan College from last year's team, a outfielder at Campbellsville in Kentucky.
Okay.
A pitcher at Faulkner University.
I know Faulkner very well.
Pitcher at UT Southern who was Martin Methodist, but UT Southern. And I know I'm missing. There's no doubt I've missed someone. I'll feel terrible about it. But regardless, you can tell. I mean, that was a large group of guys. that I had. Jacob Pointer. Gosh, he's at Johnson University here in Knoxville. Beautiful university. Coach Serrano's over there now, and he's got them rocking and rolling. They got a lot of good stuff going there. So, and I probably still miss one, but yeah, a lot of guys moving on to play, and I think there's a couple reasons for that. I think obviously winners want winners, so being able to win more games and say we can contribute, that's helpful. Second part, I may not be the best, but I try to be the best at videoing my guys as much as I possibly can, because I want them to say he's working really, really hard to get our video. Like if somebody can't come see you play, which social media and like online is the world we live now, I can get you as much video as possible. So I video everything I possibly can. And a lot of people were big on, X and Facebook and stuff. And whether I'm right or wrong for it, I love using Instagram. So we have our RSCC baseball Instagram, and I post stories all the time, and I post highlights for our games, and then I put, big highlights together for our guys because I want people to see, how they're doing. And I think that makes them feel great too, because whether we're working out or playing games, one, their parents and their family get to see them. I know that makes them feel good, but then they can post on all their stuff. So that's kind of my goal is I want video to be out there. And if video's out there, then the coaches that I have that follow me, or whether the players take it and share it on their X, Twitter, I still wild. I can't make myself call it X.
Okay.
But I think that's the big piece, is trying to work hard, and I'm trying to get better at that. There's a lot of variables, a lot of people involved that you got to get to help you at a junior college, but I'm trying to get it's called Aware Sports. It's a video streaming system installed that basically has a video that runs on my field 24/7. So if even I want to check it when I'm at home and see what's going on at my field, I can. But also I can send out a link for live stream stuff. So
cool.
Send it to you guys this spring. Y'all check in at my field on what's going
Absolutely.
on. But it costs a bit of money. But that's what that's important to my guys. It's important to me. So I'm trying my best to. I got my fingers crossed that I can get it this spring. Realistically, I think it'll probably be about halfway through our spring before we get it. But definitely, until then, I'm going to have a camcorder. I'm going to be setting it up, and I'll be videoing. So it's good stuff.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, I know that you have a lot of players returning, so that helps with a veteran standpoint. I've always wondered this with a coach. How many different lineups have you created for your opening day so far as rough drafts?
That's tough. Depending on the day and the game, it's tough. Early in the year, you play all fall, so you really kind of have an idea. You're getting a lot of your stats kind of so you can make lineups. But early in the year, you still got a lot of guys that you're trying to find their role. Because every guy wants to be an everyday guy, no matter what, right? But you're going to have the lineup where you're like, man, like this guy is hot. Like he is playing really well right now, but he's a righty and we're facing a right-handed pitcher, and maybe I want this lefty to hit today, or vice versa, especially like lefty on lefty matchups. How much does that matter to you? Some, and that's what you're trying to get in the fall and early spring too. Like if you can figure out, all right, this guy, man, he's one of our top 5 hitters or whatever, but we're facing a lefty today, and he hits .097, the average against a lefty. Well, this guy needs to play that day. Or who's your best defensive guy? Because maybe you think that's going to be a priority in this game or whatever. So that's hard. I have a really, really good assistant coach, Garrett Dalton, who whenever I get a lineup, I always get him to check over it, and he may be like, I think we really need to do this. I'm like, all right, appreciate that. And I still put my lineup out there. and then, sometimes he'll say like, hey, this, I really feel good about this. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Some days, and this is part of like just the ownership stuff is, some days I tell, I may already have an idea in my mind. But again, it's wanting the people to feel ownership and empowered. There's some days I may go and ask, like my student assistant last year, Joe, I was like, hey, put me a lineup together for tonight. I'm just curious, I'm just curious what you're thinking for tomorrow. And, he may send me the same one I'm thinking of. I post it, and then in his mind, like, he's fired up. He's like, oh yeah, like. But I'm just saying, like, there's an investment there, and a lot of it has to do with just what you think matches up best. You know, and the best way I explain it to people is I'm the head coach. I make the decisions. I'm going to be the one that has to go home at night and roll over in bed about them, you know. And so I do, like, I spend a lot of time thinking on it and praying on it, and there's times where I've been in the dugout and there's been just one position and I just can't, and I write a lineup, and then I go outside the dugout and I'll, like, think on it for a second, or I'll say a fast prayer about it, and I'll be like, I'm going to go change it. And then I go change it, and then I go change it again. So, yeah, you go through roles and, I mean, sheets and sheets of paper. But sometimes I will tell you, this is one thing that's nice that helps. And you guys know in the big sports, you know, like SEC matchup, well, 9 times out of 10, you know who's pitching for the other team each day before the weekend even starts. Same thing for junior college a lot of times is before we play, because there's not all these, like, outward, like, media stuff out there. 2 coaches will text back and forth, and I'll be like, righty, righty, lefty. Or he'll be like righty, lefty, righty. And then you know which game, what side arm they're starting. And then you can kind of base your lineups off that. And it helps because you can kind of prepare your guys on, like, hey, maybe you got 2 guys that maybe they're not everyday guys, but they're role guys. And they know, like, hey, when we face the lefty, like, that's the game I play, and he plays against the righties. It works out like that sometimes. But you get enough time to plan ahead. And that kind of helps. But one thing that happened, you guys will enjoy this, talking about that conference tournament this year. You know, we won our first game. This is a good JUCO story. You'll like this. Conference tournament, we won our first game. We get ready to go to the hotel, and baseball and softball in Tennessee Junior College, when the tournament happens, they're played at the same site. So we played our game. We won it. We get ready to go to the hotel, and I get a call from our softball coach, and he says, hey, we're set at the hotel, but they told me that they've given your rooms away. You don't have rooms here until tomorrow night. I mean, that's what he said. That's what he told me. So I've got 30-plus kids, and this is where it gets good. The weekend, the night that happened, this is in Columbia. Last year, the conference tournament was in Columbia, all right? Morgan Wallen was having one of his concerts in Nashville. And I had to basically at 2 o'clock in the morning take my whole team to Cornersville to stay in a hotel motel that I don't even know the name, but I'm telling you, it's not a chain brand. And needless to say, I'm cool with roughing it. I'll rough it all day, but I'm also the caretaker of my kids, right? Needless to say, I had parents coming to pick up their kids at 3 a.m. from this hotel. I had kids sleeping on the bus, and just because there were situations inside that room that made it no good, right? So that's my JUCO story for you about roughing it up. And then the next day, we got ready to play, and basically where I'm getting to with all this is I had a pitcher that I'd already told the team. I was like, hey, we're starting this guy this day, and then this guy the next, like our next 2 games. This is how it's going to go on the mound. I just had a feeling. I was like, I want to do something different. You know, like I feel like it's hitting me. So I switched them, and I started the one guy one day, one guy the next day. We ended up losing both games. So I guess, you know, whatever. But you get those feelings on what's best. And, you know, I have so I hope those 2, I know that's one big story in one, but I hope it gives you a good JUCO laugh to stuff we go through.
So I'm just saying, I know that there's only one hotel in Cornersville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I know where it's located. And when you say you're roughing it, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's tough. But, well, and, you know, the crazy thing is, like, that hotel, we called them earlier that week, and we're like, hey, are we good? You know, just like we do for any other travel. And they're like, yeah, we got you guys coming this day, baseball and softball. And I don't know what happened, but we definitely got a good journey out of that. But you know, I will say that's another thing that's really fun about being a junior college coach. I think I enjoy it because of all the things like it's me and my assistant. That's it. Like 2 guys were in charge of our team. And I've covered everything between I got to be the head coach. I've got to schedule rooms and hotels. We've got meal card stuff going on. You're worried about your field. You're worried about recruiting. You're worried about making sure you stay within your budget. Sometimes you're driving the 14-passenger van. Sometimes you're driving the big bus, you name it. You're kind of dealing with it. And so it makes you very, very adaptable, I would say. But it's the fun part, too, about having to manage. I'm trying to run a championship program at the highest standard. And so maybe I would say because of that, dealing with situations, maybe I'm not always the nicest, but I want things done a certain way, and it matters to me. But you get to learn all that at a junior college because once you get somewhere else, you kind of grow into having multiple hands to help you. And so really it's maybe not having as many jobs to do at the next place. You're still overseeing everything, but you have people you trust that you're putting in control that are loyal to you to take care of those things for you, make sure they get done. So then you can focus on what's most important is, helping these kids and winning games, but wild experience for sure.
So I don't know if you can answer this question or not. You had a young man on your team last year, went through some adversity, was a freshman, became one of your team leaders, Miles Denton.
Yeah.
Is he able to come back this year? And are you looking for bigger things from him this year?
Miles, everything for him is in front of him. He's been a blessing just to coach and be around. He brings good energy. He works extremely hard. If he's kind of built up kind of an example of being a guy who has a consistent routine and he does it every day. So, if you are working that day, you can be guaranteed he's going to be working too. So if you take a day off, he's still going to be working. So he's a great example in that way. And, I've really been blessed to have him, the last year going on 2 years. And I'm so excited to see what he does. I know he has high expectations for himself. But I think if he just stays consistent and stays him and centered, everything's going to be there for him. And he'll be a big piece for us. He's going to hit somewhere in that 2, 3, 4 slot for us. So he's going to come up and he's going to do damage. And I'm excited. He's one of my favorites for sure. I mean, they're all my favorites, but I'm just saying, like, me and him, we have we communicate more often than most because I'm checking on him. About this and that, and he's always got questions and wanting to learn or know or make sure he's doing something right or wrong. And sometimes I fail him because I don't tell him the right thing, but I'm trying my best, and I think he knows that. So I'm super excited for him.
So tell me about your pitching staff this year. Do you have any new guys coming in that have exceeded expectations so far and maybe even shocked you a little bit?
Yeah, I would say, having to replace Carter Olaf, who went to ETSU. We had another guy that ended up starting for us a lot transfer out, and then Jacob Pointer go to Johnson. So you're looking for 3 new starters, but we've got so many guys returning that really know what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it. And you guys will think this is really cool. So just the game now is wristbands. Well, we got wristbands now, so we can call pitches and let the whole defense know what pitch we're throwing and what location we're trying to throw it to. And sometimes that's really good because it allows the infield or the outfield to get a step based off what pitch is called, moving per pitch, not necessarily location, but just pitch especially. That's a big one. But the guys we've got, Brady Parsons, Ben Edwards, Jackson Knotts are all guys, and Jake Broom too, are all guys that are big returners from last year's team that pitch for us. And they really understand how we're trying to call pitches, how we're trying to execute. And they know there's going to be times where a hitter comes up there, tip the cap, he beats you. But they also know that if they go up there with the right mentality, and I want to instill in them that when you are up there, like, you are a killer. You have to go up there and be a killer. And when you get up there, if you will execute and throw the pitches where we're trying to put them, a lot of good things are going to happen for you. And, I was really encouraged this fall. Grady, he had a lot of outings where he had to work through some stuff and still was able to kind of contain things. Ben has probably started to throw harder and get into it this fall more than he has in the past. And Jackson Knotts, he's command, and he works at a really fast tempo. So the guys we got returning, Jake Broom may come back and be our hardest thrower. He's been working his tail off. Plus we added Braden Williams, who's a pitcher from Carson Newman that transferred over, wanted to get a little bit closer to home. And then as far as guys that are, new, we've got Jay Brosert, who's a right-handed pitcher. He's from Ohio. He's a freshman that I think, really was able to work through some stuff this fall is really going to help us. And then Ty Keeley's a little lefty who I think he's just different, kind of switches up things. Amarius Dunn is a guy coming back from Tommy John that I hope can help us. And then we got two other guys coming in. Trace Horn is a kind of a two-way guy, but I know he's going to help us on the mound, probably help a good bit positionally as well. He transferred in. And Matt Heflin is a pitcher from Farragut High School over close to me. I think we're stacked up to do well. Zach Loggins, another guy. He's from West High School. He redshirted last year. Is going to get in there and get a role. Eli Miller is another pitcher from Farragut. I think we've got a good base of depth. And I think those guys will get in there and execute. Have a chance to really be a strength for us, I believe. Just because they know what we're trying to do, and now it's just getting to the point where they get in there and they trust themselves enough, and that's part of me too. Like I want to breed that confidence in them, and I want them to kind of know that I trust them and try to communicate how I'm going to go about it. Baseball is hard. You're either going to go up there and tear it up, or I'm going to come out there and be getting the ball from you and saying, hey, like, we're going to somebody else. That doesn't always mean you failed. Sometimes, it's a matchup deal, but I feel very excited about the pitching staff this year for sure.
Okay. And more in the lines of pitching. So last year you had a freshman that led you in innings pitched. Probably not optimal from a coach's standpoint. Do you think you're going to be in a situation like that again, or do you think some of your upperclassmen will take that lead and say, hey, this is my team, I'm going to do this job?
I think without a doubt this year it's going to be more upperclassmen are going to carry those innings. Last year's team, kind of the dynamics we talked about with all the NIL and stuff going on, you're kind of 1 year, fitting your team. I am excited about this team because we're a lot more, we're just mature. I'm not even going to say more mature. It's just very mature. And that doesn't necessarily mean all older guys. Just the way they go about their business together is really cool. But I've got a lot of returning guys, like I talked about, Grady and Ben, Jake Broom, that, Jackson Knotts, who they've done it, they've seen it. And now it's their time to keep carrying that. I'm definitely feeling like the older guys are going to carry us on the mound. They're going to have to, and they will. They're up to the challenge. We were blessed. We won all those games, and I tell them winners get treated differently. Well, the school built us the indoor last year. Not rocket science. We win all those games, and now they put in a new just athletics only weight room, and we have been wearing it out. And I love that. I love getting in the weight room. So the guys, I've probably overworked them, to be honest, in the fall with our games, but I was eager to get them in there And I think if we can do a good job of building that through the spring, as far as like how can we maintain them and maybe even make a couple gains and keep them working at a good level, I think it's going to help us, especially later in the season. Whereas before last year, we couldn't even run a team workout with the stuff we had. Guys had to, other than a plate, like just grabbing a bunch of plates and me putting them through something or things like that. There's a lot of it was things they had to do on their own. So I think that's going to be a big change for us that I'm very excited about.
I gotcha. So I know season starts for you guys, February 1st?
February 1st, first game. We're going to go scrimmage Lee University on either January 24th or the 26th. They asked us to come up there. It'll be based off what's the best weather day because, January and baseball definitely don't mix. But they got to get prepared for their season too. So I'm blessed to have a game this year to kind of be able to go out there and see what it's like against somebody else before we play our first game. Then we're going to USC Union in South Carolina for the first weekend, February 1st and 2nd.
That's who you opened up with last year too, right?
We enjoyed that. Their coach asked us to come back. We split last year, played 4 games, went 2-2, and just really thought it was a good play. I thought it was a great place for us to start again this year. So we're going to go down there. Now, what route we take to get there, because, they've had a lot of tough from the hurricane and things, how we get down there. But we'll find a way. We always do. So
sounds like a true JUCO Warriors phrase right there. We find a way.
Yeah. Well, and it's different this year, too, for us because we have 11 teams in our Tennessee Junior College Conference. So, you have any guys that watch this and they're interested in all right, maybe I want to look at junior college baseball in Tennessee and what my options are. Well, from east to west, you've got Walters furthest east, then Roane State, and then it's Pellissippi is now in Knoxville. So they're, obviously, I guess they're the second furthest east now. So Walters, Pellissippi, Roane, Cleveland, Chat, Motlow, Ball, Columbia, Jackson, Dyersburg, Southwest. So you are loaded up with teams, and we've got to start playing. Our first conference weekend now is the second week of February. So again, we're playing 10 straight weekends. I think every team gets one bye in there. So it's a gauntlet for sure. But my goal is to hopefully continue to put my team through enough to where they can handle it and be mentally and physically tough enough. That mental and physical toughness is something we talk a lot about and kind of what that looks like. I was actually working on something tonight for you guys before we all hopped on together, and it was like kind of like a pyramid of what I think an uncommon person is, or like what our winner's culture looks like. But you got to have that because it's a gauntlet. I'm excited for our season, though. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you, you got a guy like David Weathers who's coaching at Loretto that went the JUCO route in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever reference a guy like that in recruiting and say, hey, come give JUCO a chance? You could be the next David Weathers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I think every program is kind of going for showing the guys that they've had at their program that have then gotten to somewhere where somebody else wants to go, to play at the big D1 school or things like that. And but really you are pointing to our conference and saying like, look at this guy that played here, that did this and went here and did this. It's very exciting. What's wild now is the mix, it's going both ways a lot more. It's like we're having so many guys transfer down because of the transfer portal, but you've also got guys coming in. So the guys transferring down are trying to come there and kind of like reset and either recover from an injury, get more development playing time so they can move on to a better fit for them, or maybe they had an academic issue at the other school, whatever the case may be. But they're trying to come down to then find their best fit. Same thing for my guys coming from high school. They're trying to come there to try to build so they can go play at those places. I think a lot of players are getting a lot smarter about it though, because they are looking at it like, where can I go be a part of a successful program, obviously, but where can I make an impact and play? And at the junior college level, it does give you the chance to do that a little bit sooner, hopefully, is your goal. Baseball ends for everybody at some point. I say that as a young coach because I wasn't very good, but I say it as an example of, like, if you can do it here, it's a great builder for you to be able to move on to the next place. And if you look at Roane State, as well as every other team in our conference, they're all going to be able to say, we had this guy go D1 and play at this school. And then we had this guy go to D2 school. Or we had this guy transfer down here, and then he ended up there. Like Carter Oliff, that is, he pitched for me last year from ETSU. Well, like, his story is, he went to MTSU in Middle Tennessee, where he was there for a semester in the fall, and they just pretty much were like, look, like, it's going to be better for you if you look somewhere else, So he went to Walter State in the spring, which is everybody's kind of initial choice. They've had, a ton of success there, but he went there and was there for the spring and decided he wanted to also do something different again. He had a thumb injury, and he was like, I want to come to Roane State and I want to pitch for you. I feel like that would be best for me. And so he was a catcher up until he came to Roane State, just a catcher. He just caught. And then he got to Roane State, and although he still likes to swing it anytime he can, he just pitched. And he pitched for us, and he got really, really good at it. And he throws from just a weird arm slot that's like way, way out here.
Oh, man. That's my favorite kind.
Yeah, so it's, maybe not completely submarine, but, like, if you look at some of the numbers, like, I think he throws, like, further out than – like, and obviously he was at Roane State last year, but they looked at some of the numbers from last year, ETSU did, and he throws further out there than any pitcher in D1 baseball last year. So the slot is something that's very unique, and he didn't get one home run hit off of him last year, not one. Didn't give up one home run.
Does he have a ridiculous spin rate?
Yes, I would say overall he probably does. I don't know his exact numbers, but yes, it's ridiculous. I mean, some higher than others, but his slider's really filthy. The fastball just kind of naturally has movement to it, and it'll run into a lot of righties' bats. But then the slider's going to fall off, but it kind of tunnels in. So it's hard for a pitcher to make a decision, and it's also such an awkward slot.
I gotcha.
I think with him, he's going to have a big year for them and really help them a lot. I think if he's able to command his changeup, he'll have a chance to start for him. But if he, and if not, there's a good chance he'll have a role for him, or he'll be the first out of the pen, or he's probably going to close multiple games on a weekend because he throws a ton of strikes. Like last spring, I think his strike to base on ball ratio was crazy. I think he had 71 strikeouts and 20 base on balls. So it was
That's very good.
The ratio was super good. But yeah, that's a guy's example. He went down and now he's back up, and kind of just
awesome.
the journey of his career. But every program, not just Roane State, every program in our conference has examples of guys that have come to our conference, done well, and they've gotten to move on and continue to play, and maybe it's not the fit for everybody, but there's definitely more guys than there was in the past that I think are starting to consider junior college baseball.
For sure. And, another thing too is, so me being an LSU fan, I see a lot of JUCO guys come into the program. And I mean, obviously with the transfer portal, it's dwindled up a little bit, but we still have some JUCO guys coming in this year. But over the years, I've always noticed that a JUCO guy has a totally different mentality when they get on that field than just a kid that's just gone through a 4-year school from the get-go. And I love it. They play it's like when you compare college football to NFL. I feel like college players played harder than NFL players. And it's more physical style. And I see that dog approach in a JUCO kid. And it's one of my favorite things to witness, because sometimes you see these kids come up and they light it up.
Yeah.
And that is why I love JUCO so much.
They've had to rough it a little bit more. So when they get to they get to that program, you definitely don't have to worry about them being ungrateful.
Mm-hmm.
They've earned that,
Mm-hmm.
but because they've earned it, they really do a good job of taking care of it. And then a lot of times once it's game day, they're like, shoot, like I'm here, like, let's go,
Yep, absolutely.
So the mind and the belief in yourself, it's gotta, shoot. Sometimes, I mean, that's something that's built through that JUCO experience. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
Absolutely. So what you got, Chris?
So I'm going to shift gears.
Yeah. What else you got for me? Let's talk.
We all know what's coming up this weekend or later on this week.
Yeah.
We got some college football playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to tap into a college baseball coach's mind about this.
Gosh, I appreciate it. Big time. I'm ready to talk some football.
So, game number 1, Boise State and Penn State at the Fiesta Bowl. Who you got and why?
All right, so I'm going to choose Boise State, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm junior college, and the underdog mentality is, that's in my storyline every year to my guys. Nobody thinks we're any good. They expect us to be the same Roane State, and we need to go show them something different, and you need to have a chip on your shoulder. Well, I think Boise State has got a chip on their shoulder because everybody thinks that they just kind of are irrelevant. I really think they're going to do well. So that's who I'm rooting for. That's who I want to win. Underdog mentality. The chatter is definitely like I'm gonna be telling everybody like, James Franklin can't win the big game. I'll be all about it. So I'm definitely Boise State in game 1.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one as well. I can't pick against Boise in the Fiesta Bowl. I just can't do it.
That's right. There's legendary games there. I hope they run the same play, that same drive.
Oh yes. Absolutely. And when you really look at it too, I think the one team that's like, don't sleep on Boise would be Oregon because they should have beat Oregon already this year. So I'm liking Boise a lot. I think that's a dangerous team.
One loss, right? And the one loss was to Oregon by what?
It was by field goal on the road.
Yeah. It's good.
Genty almost went for 200 against them. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hey, if you pick Boise State, you have all you said it right there. You have all the facts of why to justify picking them. The Oregon can say without a doubt to me, like they are going into the playoffs. They're the number 1 best team in there. Boise State lost to them by 3.
Exactly.
I'll take Boise State and see what happens with it. So plus I love their coach. Obviously I see this stuff all the time. But I think being on here with you guys is a blessing. But I think about, the opportunity to get on the main stage and receive a trophy and really talk about something bigger than yourself, talk about Jesus Christ and all that in that moment, I think is really cool. But I'm a big fan of him and what he's done there, because there was a lot of people for a while that were like, Boise State, it's never going to be what it used to be, and like all these stuff with like Chris Peterson when he was the coach, like, it's never going to be back there. But here they are.
Better than ever.
They win. If they win, I would love to see them win, because it's like you've proven all the doubters wrong. You're a top 4 team, even though you don't quote play in a Power 4 conference.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
And also, shout out to the athletic department at Boise. They know how to hire football coaches.
Heck yeah.
Like, they're fantastic at that.
Absolutely. I agree.
Okay, game number 2.
Yes.
Georgia and Notre Dame.
Well, I'm a Catholic, so I always have a place in my heart for Notre Dame, but it's Georgia all day. Georgia all day. I just think that even with the backup quarterback, I don't know why, but like that makes me even more confident in them. I know that sounds psycho to say.
That underdog mentality, man.
Exactly. But like Georgia, you guys have seen them so much. You're just like it's hard. They can obviously lose, but he just, when it gets to be that this time of year, like he just has them so prepared, and I just think maybe their dynamic of the team they got is different than they've had in past years, but I just think they're too stacked and loaded, and I can't pick against Georgia. I can't do it. So
I'm actually going Georgia, and the reason why is I think they're more dangerous with Gunnar Stockton at quarterback than with Carson Beck because he gives them that running dynamic. And what I saw in that first game was it reminded me of Stekwavius.
I love that name.
So
makes sense. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm going Georgia as well. That being said, I think this is the most dangerous Notre Dame team since they won a championship in '88. I really think that if there is a team for them to do it again, it's this year's team. I can't pick against Georgia. They just, even when I think Georgia's down, they prove me wrong. So I can't go against them.
I like that.
So I'm going to save the big one for last.
Yeah.
I'm going to go game number 3, Texas, Arizona State.
Give me Cam Scatterbo.
There you go.
I'm cheering for Oregon State. I want the Sun Devils to tear it up. Obviously, I think this too is like, I haven't paid attention enough to this, but I think if Texas gets all the way to the end and Georgia, they're not on the same side, right? They would meet in the championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. If that gets there, I can't pick Texas, but I'm also Georgia can't beat somebody. Beating somebody 3 times is crazy. But I think Arizona State is going to really shock the world. I think that game, they're going to get on the map too. Again, I want the chaos. I want all the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
I want Boise State and Arizona State both.
Mm-hmm.
I want them. I want them in it. And I think in the first round of those games, the home teams ended up winning all of them. So obviously that home field advantage is a huge deal.
Oh yeah.
Now moving to where we're in kind of the more bowlish, where it's the Fiesta Bowl and stuff like that. It's it really is wide open, and where I feel like I'm not even going to call them true underdogs because they have gotten there. Their resume says they should be there. They did, they won this, but I'm Arizona State. I want it. I want that to happen pretty bad. I like Cam Scatterbo.
I'm actually going Arizona State myself. I just think they're so well coached, and their play design on offense is second to none right now. Some of their play designs remind me actually of a guy you've already mentioned, Chris Peterson.
Yeah.
The way they design plays is immaculate, and for those players to be able to catch on to it in short time, very well coached.
Well, and as a young coach, I'll say this. I don't know how old he is, but Dillingham looks like he's 25 coaching at D1. He looks young, but he has got it going on. He's I believe in my team. This is what we do. We're going to get there. We're going to do it. And this is how, I always, and he's a big passion guy. He's fiery. Reminds me, not all the time, but he's got some of those Tony Vitello characteristics in him.
He does.
When it's game time, we're on the field. It's let's go. There's two different people that live inside of us. It's it's the in game guy and it's the out of game guy. The in game, he's a killer, and I love it.
For sure.
And last but not least, the big one, Ohio State and Oregon.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you this. Maybe I got my blinders on from watching Tennessee football, but we may not have played well, but I don't think Ohio State could have played any better versus us.
Absolutely, that's the best they played all year.
They were dominant, but I'm glad they played such a phenomenal game. But I got to pick Oregon. I just think that they are just better. I don't have a ton of justification on players and details and stuff. I just, I love following Dan Lanning. I watch what he does too. And I just think, I think he's just built it. I think think Ohio State's just ran out of luck, But I'll tell you this though, I think that's going to be the best game out of all of them. I really do. I think the Ohio State Oregon game will. Only because I really think for whatever reason Ohio State's just Michigan's their kryptonite.
Absolutely.
Everybody else they can hang with. They're just
Mhm.
something about Michigan. Everybody else they're going to play good football. And they did all year. So
Yeah, I like seeing them getting a neutral site matchup. I think that'll make it a lot better. I'm curious to how well Oregon fans are going to travel versus Ohio State fans.
yeah.
But I think that, it's hard for me to pick against Ohio State at this point. They're just
I
so
believe it.
dominant.
I understand that they played so well, and you've gotten to see them play one playoff game, and it's like they already kind of have that momentum, and that means something. Like you get going. Even in baseball, it's like you peak. Sometimes you peak too early, and then you're kind of fizzling out towards the end. You don't want that to happen. Well, you could say they played like we said, their best game of the year, first game. So if they bring that and it just kind of continues to go, Oregon's going to have their hands full for sure.
Oh, yeah. And I have a little story for you. You'll appreciate this. So my son, he's 3 now. We went to the SEC baseball tournament because I go every year. And I brought him, just me and him. It was his first time to get to go alone with me. And we were going to have, some fun. They have like a gym set up where you can play games and have fun. Then you can go into the stadium right there. Well, when we go into the stadium, we get up to where ESPN's booth set up. And they just got done interviewing Christian Moore and Tony Vitello. And they walked down and I was like, I've got to get my son to meet him. Yeah. So he got to meet him, get a picture, and they were super cool to him. And now my son won't shut up about Tennessee. He still talks about it. So I had to buy him a shirt. We accept the Vols in this house, but it's still a Tiger household.
It's fair. Well, it's his big phrase. He said it after they won it all. Like Tony says, you're either a Vol or you're not. And I joke with people all the time. It's like, somebody told me, like, hey, Tennessee or Vanderbilt, they're playing in a baseball, which I know sounds silly. It's just baseball is my sport. Like, who are you cheering for? And I'm like, man, like, if we're playing a 3-game series, I've got some messed up stuff going on because I'm probably cheering for Tennessee too. Like, I want Tennessee to win the series, but I also want Vanderbilt to win a game, Yeah. Like, I guess I'm not all, but that's a different one, Other than that, I really
you see it from a different aspect, though.
Yeah, but I love Tennessee athletics altogether. Obviously, living up here, being so close with where Roane State is, I go to a lot of the basketball games and I enjoy that. But everybody up here, will tell you, like, it's just they do a good job. All the athletics, especially the baseball team, like, they are not going to miss a photo or to sign something, and they're just like, when they don't really, no athlete has to do that, but you definitely think the world of the ones that, like, they want to go, like, they've got places to be and do, and they'll take time to do that always. Like, it's I think it just says a lot about
baseball players are different, though. Yeah, that is what I've noticed. They are so happy to sign and meet with fans and all that. But I say to everybody, baseball fans are this intelligent fan base. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah. It's different. It is. And so when we had to go to a wedding in Pennsylvania in October, and when we were driving through Knoxville, I saw all the Roane State billboards going up there, and I was like, okay. So I hit Chris. I was like, all right, it's time. It's time to go ahead and we got to get it set up to do it again soon. Because when I saw that, it started getting my baseball wheels rolling again. I was like, all right, I'm ready.
Well, that's what's crazy. Like, it really will. It will blink of an eye, and it'll be college baseball season. That'll be all over the tube. We've got probably about 2 weeks college football. Then it'll get big into SEC basketball. Which, by the way, we've like, if you haven't looked at it, SEC basketball is so
nasty. Men's and women's.
So there's only one team that has 3 losses. It's South Carolina, and they played a phenomenal, like, they played a tough schedule as well. So that is going to be a gauntlet for whoever. SEC may get like 9 teams in the tournament. I'd love it.
Oh, absolutely. I think LSU's kind of screwed on that aspect, though, because injuries are just piling up, and it's about to go downhill, I think, in conference play, unfortunately. But that conference right now is at the highest it's ever been.
It's crazy.
Adding Texas and Oklahoma is a blessing, but it's also a curse because everybody's going to beat everybody.
Yeah.
And we saw that in football this year.
Did you guys happen to see, like, whenever SEC championship, whenever Kirby kind of threw a shot at the commissioner about their schedule?
Yes.
What's tough is I know it's probably like overlooking. It's probably really not this way, but if you look at it, like you could say, like Texas, it was tailor made for Texas to have a great first in the SEC with the way their schedule lined up, you know. And
then poor Oklahoma.
they got they didn't catch any breaks there, but no, it's crazy. All this conference realignment stuff and having teams from like the West Coast that are in the ACC. It's some of that. It's just chaos to me. And the Big Ten being what it is now. But anyways,
so SEC basketball, I think there's two teams right now that are close to the top in the league, look really, really good in the out of conference stuff that I think are going to struggle bad when it comes to conference play. That's Kentucky and Vanderbilt.
I knew you were going to say Kentucky.
and I say that because if you look across the SEC this year, post play is magnificent across the board. Mm-hmm. And those are the two teams that don't have any post play.
Yep.
Well, you know, they'll win some games maybe you weren't sure they'd win because they'll shoot the lights out of it, though.
Right.
Compare, you know, the first year for this head coach at Vanderbilt, right?
Yes.
Like, I mean, it's been a turnaround. I've noticed. I've followed enough to know it's been pretty.
Just know this: Tyler Tanner is a name that you need to remember.
Okay, I got it. It's awesome.
So Jason Edwards is third leading scorer in the SEC right now at Vanderbilt. I don't think he's our best player. I think Tyler Tanner is our best player.
Oh, I love that. I think, you know, Tennessee, we always get to talk about Ziegler and how he's kind of the glue. Every team's kind of got that glue guy that, like, maybe he's not scoring as all your points, but, man, if he wasn't playing, a lot of things would look different. So I feel you there.
I'd give props to Tennessee, too, for not trying to overload their early season schedule before conference play. That was genius on their part because – at the end of the day, put them against Auburn in terms of their schedules. Auburn had a gauntlet compared to Tennessee, but yet they're probably going to finish about the same in conference play, and they'll probably both be 1 seeds at the end of the day. It doesn't even matter.
Very true. You know, and it's wild. Like when you schedule all these games so many years out too, you know, our schedule is about a year out, and I don't know how much it is I know football, it can be like way out, basketball, but you know, like Tennessee, they played Syracuse and Miami. Well, Syracuse and Miami had been good basketball schools, but they, you know, Syracuse probably the best team not best. They played. Who was the game? The buzzer beater. Why am I blanking? I fallen.
Illinois.
The Illinois game. Now, I guess Illinois is probably the best team they played.
Sure.
But I will tell you, like Tennessee starts out with Arkansas. Arkansas comes to Knoxville here in a couple of days, or January 4th, I guess. So I'm excited to see what Coach Cal's got, you know. And we got a guy that transferred from Tennessee last year that he's playing with him. But I would love for us to put it on him. But you know, SEC play starts, and usually games aren't blowouts. So we'll see.
So let me ask you, this season in baseball, I know I'm going back to baseball. What is your goal ultimately?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I've talked a lot about this with the guys, you know, the goal for us, like on the short term, is like I want to go into the game and I want to try to win every inning. And we'll talk a little bit about that and like what that looks like. But as far as like what we want to do, we want to finish top 5 in the conference, and then that gives us a chance to win the conference tournament and move on to play in the regions, because that's the way our conference works. Only one team gets to move forward. So there's 11 of us. We go to the conference tournament. If you can seed yourself in the top 5, you really give yourself a good chance. Because like I told you, there's a little bit of luck that goes along with that. You got to be playing your best at the end. But if you win the tournament, you get to move on. If we get in the top 5, that's a great goal for us. It's better than we've done in 20 plus years. We're trying to build and be a little bit better, like to get to that maintaining point. And, we want to be a 30 plus win ball club. I think that's just part of the standards we're trying to set is we're winners. And that's what we're trying to do. So I think, looking at us and how our season's going, last year, obviously it was a big deal. We did a lot of things that hadn't been done, but getting to 30 wins and putting yourself top 5 in the conference really makes you a power player. Last year, the championship game in the conference tournament was Dyersburg won the conference tournament, and they actually finished 6th in the regular season. And they won the whole thing, got to go to the regions, and they ended up getting beat by Georgia Highlands. Winner goes to the World Series, so we always play the winner of the Georgia JUCOs. But Dyersburg finished 6th, and they ended up getting hot and win it all. We our 3-game series, we went and played at Dyersburg. They won the first one. We won the middle game. They won the third one. But they started getting hot there at the end. And then Cleveland State ended up making it to they were the runner-up. And they finished, I think, 4th overall. But they, in my opinion, all year, they had the best pitching staff in the conference. And that really, once the tournament got here, that rode them because Walter State won the regular season. And they were 2-out,
Gotcha.
So it's really wide open as far as we got 11 teams. And when I tell you top to bottom, you're not playing your best baseball, you're going to get beat. Doesn't matter what, But that I would say the goals is top 5 in conference, 30-plus wins. If we do that, that'll give us a chance to win a championship, which is what we're shooting for, obviously, every year. But you got to have kind of some goals in there, and your goals really have to be bigger than just a win-loss. And, you have the big expectations, what are we doing each day? To do that stuff. And so that's what I'm focusing on. I'm let's talk about the day in, day out stuff. It's like the pyramid I was telling you I was working on, because I want to give a lot of information to our guys, and they're seeing it every day. It's like the stuff the locker room stuff you put in the locker room, stuff you're putting on the top of a practice plan that you want to read the quote and know. But I think the guys we got in-house, they know how we want to do it, and I think they're going to help us get there for sure. So I got to plug in a charger depending on how much time we got left, guys.
Well, what you got, Chris? What do you think?
What do you say while he's
doing that?
While he's doing that, why don't you do a plug for our sponsor from Dad's Seasoning?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. So, everybody, we all like meat around here. We like to grill out. We like to cook. We like to eat good. If you want your food to taste good, you got to season it good. Dad's Seasoning. Go to dadseasonings.com. Use promo code Golden Boot to get 10% off your purchase. And when I say they have good seasonings, you can get your everything seasonings. I mean, they have every type of seasoning you can think of. Very high quality. We've had people already use the code. Whoever that was, shout out to you. We appreciate you. Definitely need to check them out. Definitely a good company. Definitely just buy their product. Give them a chance. And come and tell us what you think about it. And we can go from there.
Let's show them what it looks like.
Let's do it.
All right. I think I'm back.
Good.
Oh, man. Look at that.
Yeah, so this is Dad's Seasoning. This is our sponsor, and basically they have everything. You name the seasonings, they got it. And they're pretty local as well. So I believe that I think they're in Georgia. So
listen, I want to get something out in the open here that I've been thinking on this whole episode. If y'all's show was terrible, which it's not, it's phenomenal, but if it was terrible, I would show up just for the intro. The music on the intro is special. I mean, I was ready to run through a wall before we got started.
That was the goal of it. So it's funny you say that. So what I did was I have this app, and it basically will create a song for me within like 3 minutes, and I can either go in there and create the lyrics myself, or I can type in all the information I want put in the song, and it will come up with something insane. I put the style I want and everything, and that is how I've gotten every one of our songs for the show.
Pretty cool. I mean, I was fired up. It's like I was in a Nickelback concert, you know?
He threw me off tonight because he went with an older song that we started out with when we first started doing this.
Yeah.
And we were on a different platform. And he's like, I'm going to use an old intro tonight. And he put it up, and I'm thinking, what just happened? This isn't right. He used an old one. He got me.
So I'm going to share some news without sharing some news. So we're in talks with the largest college baseball website on the internet about working with them in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So the next time you're on, might have a little bit of green on our screen, if that makes sense.
I think that's awesome. You're keeping the chatter going. There's more and more people getting excited about baseball at the, especially the college level. It's been awesome to see how people started to follow the game. And that's it. Like, we all just want to grow the game. I wanted to make it something that people enjoy. I talk to my guys all the time about tempo, playing fast, getting on and off the field, tempo, because, you want, baseball. I love baseball. I could watch it all day. That game could take all day. But in general, the fan, you want to keep them enticed. And, in Knoxville this spring, we got the Knoxville Smokies opening up a brand new stadium.
Oh, nice.
So,
Okay.
If my season ends and I'm lucky enough to catch an end of the season UT game, or maybe I can shoot up for a midweek. I always love trying to get to at least one UT baseball game a year. But then this summer, we'll have the Knoxville Smokies, and that's going to be exciting. So I tell people all the time, Roane County is God's country, most beautiful place on the planet to me. But Knoxville is one of the best kept secret, I think, cities.
Oh, for sure.
To live in, just because it's just good. There's obviously having the mountains everywhere is awesome, but it's a good place for events and things to do, where at the same time it doesn't feel like this overwhelmingly massive city, if that makes sense. So yeah, I would say just any time you can make a little trip to Knoxville, even if it's not for a UT football game. I tell people all the time, you can make a great trip out of it. You guys are always welcome. So
absolutely. You ought to try to see if you can line up a game at the new stadium in the future. That would be awesome, especially since their season doesn't start till later.
That is true. Yeah,
that would be insane.
Yeah, I would say that's probably that's something me and my AD we kind of talked a little bit about that, and we talked about Roane State, the school in general, I think is planning on having a suite for things at the game. But we had discussed about hey, the sounds, they always have some stuff for UT goes and plays there in the fall and things like that. But we're definitely going to talk about that. I think it's worth putting in the note. See that right there. See, you would be a great director of baseball operations for somebody.
I would love to do that. That would be a dream.
The sounds, they do the Vanderbilt, Belmont, Vanderbilt, Lipscomb games. So it would make sense for somebody in this state, whether it's UT Chat, MTSU, the Smokies, somebody with a big stadium, to bring in some JUCO teams and say, hey, have yourself a weekend.
Be awesome. That'd be awesome. It's I think they may start doing like Tennessee and Vanderbilt has done it in the past too. There's always those classic tournaments at the beginning of the year that they'll go play at Great American Ballpark and all these different places. The Frisco Classic's a big one. So it's if you get into those, I just think that's awesome for growing the game. And like I said, I think everybody's getting better about live streaming with ESPN Plus. You have an access to all these games. What I think's funny is I think like everybody a long time ago, whenever it was like, oh, I'm getting off DirecTV or Comcast, and because it's so much more money, and now we've all got YouTube TV, Hulu, Netflix, ESPN Plus, and we're probably paying the same amount. We just have it streamed on
Absolutely
10 different platforms.
Absolutely. But ESPN Plus has been the greatest thing they could have ever done for baseball fans. I love it so much.
I know what I will do is, for us, our schedule. So on the weekends, we will play back-to-back days. So either Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday. And it's doubleheader sevens on one day. So it's a whole day of baseball, 14 innings altogether. We take a short break in between. It's all baseball. Then either the other day is our single 9-inning game. And that's kind of how you have to run junior college just because of the finances of it all. Whereas D1, they're going to play all 9-inning games. They'll play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they'll play their midweek versus somebody. Well, regardless if I play my midweek on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, one of those nights I'm coming home and I'm turning on ESPN Plus and I'm getting to watch Austin Peay, MTSU, Belmont, Lipscomb, Tennessee, TSU, Western Kentucky, like every program right there that I'm used to kind of following just as a baseball nut. Like I can go watch their teams play on a midweek, and the live streams are pretty phenomenal because they've got students are usually broadcasting or they have somebody, and it's like, man, this is awesome. It's awesome for the kids. It's awesome for fans because they're actually able to keep up with it, and that's same thing for us. I'm like, trying to get the live stream going for Roane State. So, families can hop in and I can send the live stream to you guys and be like, man, like who's that big blue blob out there? Is that Coach Hamsley on the field yelling at some umpire about something? But no, it's good. I'm excited. I told my wife the other day, I'm like, we're going to have to get outside and go throw some football because, guys are coming back in about 12 days, and I got to be ready to throw some BP. So I'm looking forward to it.
That arm's going to be tired.
I'm ready. I want it to be. I want it to be hanging.
That's good. That's good.
I'm going to tell your secrets a little bit here.
Oh, it's fine. Go for it.
So, Cody, the other day he had an opportunity, the 27th, to throw some football around. And rather than throw football around, they sat around and watched football because they were watching the Vanderbilt game in a Tennessee household while they were having their family Christmas.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Telling on your coach.
That's right. We're watching, following. We got a couple outliers in the family that don't care for that Tennessee orange. So we gotta take care of them too. But hey, I think the Battle of the Boulevard's coming up soon. Belmont and Lipscomb. I don't think they've played it yet. I don't know that
they haven't.
Did you know? This is another big one. You guys may want to try to go out to this. Belmont is going to have an awesome team this year, I believe. And like Coach Jarvis has been doing it forever, Hall of Famer. And they've got Kentucky is coming to play at Belmont, at Rose Park. They're playing a 3-game series. I think you're probably going to have a pretty big fan outcome for that. But I just thought that was cool because you're getting an SEC team to come down earlier in the year to play there. And they got somebody else big. The Kentucky game will be the biggest. They got somebody else big coming from up north, I think, to play them at home. And I was like, man, that would be big. That'd be a good time to go catch some college baseball you don't normally get to catch,
Yeah. I like Belmont. I spent a lot of summers at Belmont, actually. I used to do a bunch of mission trips over the summers in my teenage years, and we spent 2 years out at Belmont. And I had to go to Vanderbilt Hospital on one of them because I had a fence to go down and about take my foot off. Thought I broke my toe, but it was all good. But no, I loved it up there. I was so much fun getting out there in the community and doing some work. It was a blessing.
That's awesome. Vanderbilt's stadium renovations, right? Vanderbilt's got some stadium renovations for the ball field. That'll look good.
Absolutely.
So I'll be glad when they get done with the south end of the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
Because once it's done, then they can start on Hawkins Field and get that all taken care of.
Yeah.
And get that upper deck put in there. That's going to be a nice place.
I'm ready for that softball facility to come into effect.
Oh, yes, it needs to. They got property now.
It's fair.
So
Yeah,
I don't know
put
how much you
Vanderbilt
know
on
about
that.
Nashville, Coach, but that little shopping center right there on West End where the red light's at, Vanderbilt purchased that for like $2.1 billion.
Oh, wow.
The whole shopping center.
That's wild. Hey, last year, I guess we're on here, and we're talking about the Jim Harbaugh news.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers are in the playoffs. That's all.
There
I'm
you
saying.
go. That's true. He's
true.
done great in his crossover though.
Yeah.
See, and having Lad McConkey also helps a lot. But
he just brought up the NFL, which is kind of a sore subject for me and Coach.
Oh, who's y'all's teams? Are y'all Titans fans too?
Titans and Saints.
Oh, that's double whammy.
Yes.
I'm a Raiders fan, so it's all good. We suck.
Oh yeah, so we're all on the struggle bus this year.
Absolutely.
So
I've been thinking about the draft all day.
yeah,
Right now the Titans are sitting at number 2.
right.
So if you get the number 1 or number 2, I'll read you what I came up with. You might like this.
We'll see. I'll let you know for sure because I was talking about it with my fantasy football group as well.
So you trade out of 1 or 2. Make sure you get a first and a third for that pick. With your first round pick, you're either getting Kelvin Banks or Abdul Carter. If you go with Carter, you have to trade Simmons.
Oh,
when you trade Simmons, you have to get a third and a fifth. And you use this draft to stock up on offensive line, defensive line, and secondary.
Oh yeah, I mean,
then you go get a quarterback like Kenny Pickett or Josh Dobbs to be QB1 for 1 or 2 years just to hold the fort until the offensive line is fixed, and then go get a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, that is your best. That is the best route for them because they don't have a third round pick right now because they they traded that away for Snead, but they gained a couple picks when they got rid of who they traded to the Seahawks,
the linebacker
Ernest Jones, and then they got a pick for DeAndre Hopkins, but. So they don't have a pick in the third round, and they really need, like you said, I mean, spot on. Like, we don't need to go get another quarterback right now. We need to find someone to fill, just kind of help fill it, and then, try to rack up some picks and make some things happen. That's what I hope happens. But it's been tough to watch for sure because we were spoiled. We were spoiled immensely when we had, A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry on the roster, and we didn't realize how good we had it. We started, but that should show you, like, if you can put some playmakers around, then you can have a Ryan Tannehill that is just a very subpar QB, but he looks like he just moves the offense. He's very efficient. And if you do that, that'll be good. Now the Raiders, you guys need a quarterback.
We need just everything, to be honest.
Yeah.
But quarterback is definitely number 1 need.
There was one person in this video right now that warned everybody, do not hire Brian Callahan.
You did say that. You told me. I told you I like to hire, and you said it's a bad hire.
Mm-mm.
You said I can't stand his dad. His dad's terrible.
That is what you said.
And Cody should remember his dad because his dad took the Raiders from 11-5 AFC Championship to 5-11 in 1 year and got fired.
Yep.
Well, somebody's going to hire Mike Vrabel this offseason. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he ends up in Chicago.
I could see it.
I don't know. Pete Carroll apparently is interested in the job now.
Getting back into it. Can you guys believe Bill Belichick? He went to the
genius. Such a genius move on his part.
I don't think it is.
think if he goes there for 1 year, then he'll be back in the NFL, or do you think he'll stay there?
I think he stays. I really think that NIL fits his personality perfectly. He already knows how to run a pro team, and you have to have a pro mentality in this stage. And I think that if he can get the right people around him, I think he's set. I really do. But then again, college game is totally different from the NFL in terms of style of play. So is he ready for that?
I have no idea what to think. I couldn't tell you one way or another. I couldn't tell you if it's bad or good because it blows my mind that he's coaching college football.
Oh, for sure.
I'll say this much. It gives me NFL coaches going to Arizona State vibes. And we all know how that turned out.
There's a difference, though. He's not Herm Edwards.
But is there a difference?
But he also doesn't have Tom Brady at North Carolina, so. Yeah.
I'm actually shocked that he took a North Carolina job because by all accounts, he spends a lot of his time over on West End in Nashville.
But
because he went to school there. He's got friends there that are involved there. And he actually has a home in Franklin. And it's like,
but what would
North
he do
Carolina,
at Vandy? What would he do at Vandy though? Like
he can be an analyst.
He's not going to take orders from somebody.
Hey, I'll tell you this though: whoever gets Ashton Genty they're going to be happy because I'm telling you, just like we talked about, I will take Boise State because I think he is going to run all over.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's built. He's like kind of like Derrick Henry. Like he's built to just go. Yep. He's going to be a great pick. I do think Travis Hunter is going to be a phenomenal NFL player, however, whatever side or both sides they put him on.
I think they need to make him focus on one position, though.
Yeah.
I think he could really thrive if he put all his focus on one side of the ball.
I think Shadur
you're going to see a lot of Dion style with Travis Hunter.
Sure.
He's going to focus on defense, but they're going to have packages for him on offense.
Yeah. And I think that will be fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Shedeur, oh man, he's got a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think he's super athletic, so he fits that mold of like he can pass it, he can run it. So he's like that dynamic, like the Brock Purdy's, Patrick Mahomes, like Josh Allen's, like he can throw it, but he's going to be able to run it too. So I mean, it'll be fun. But I just again, mixing that with like UNC, maybe he's telling people, hey, you come here. Obviously know how to get you to the NFL. You just got to come here.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
We'll see. But he's got to, is that enough to lure top recruits to come play for him? Like, hey, I've been there. I know how to get you there. Or is it going to be like, well, yeah, you've been there, but you've also never been in college. So how do we know,
sure.
I don't know. It could go either way, but I'm interested to see how he does.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be fun. But these games over the next couple of days, I think they're all going to be good games. I really am excited about them. And I'm also excited about them because I know once they're over, it means it's baseball season.
Exactly.
So we're a win-win for sure.
I'm ready. I'm beyond ready to get there.
Fast. Here's my hot takes on SEC baseball. Tennessee will be a top 3 team in the SEC again.
Agreed.
Right? Vanderbilt is resurgence, will also be a top 3 team. So I'm picking my 2 in Tennessee team, top 3 in the SEC. And I'm going to say number 3 is going to be Texas A&M, even though they lost Schlossnagel. And Texas is going to have a crappy year. Those are my –
I think A&M's doing better now by losing him.
Probably
because the players got the coach they wanted, and I think that's going to help a lot.
Oh, something else. This is just a side note here, but also think a lot of Butch Thompson. He's the coach at Auburn. Just had a lot of listen to him speak. Just awesome guy. I think Auburn is really going to have a turnaround year. They struggled last year through a lot of stuff. They're going to have a turnaround year too. So my big 4 teams this year are Auburn, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, Tennessee. Really expecting big things, but it's just every sport now: football, basketball, baseball. Everybody's good. Every team is absolutely phenomenal, loaded with dudes. So what is each team doing to just kind of tilt the barometer their way? Is it just staying healthy? Is it adjusting, adapting within the season with what they have? Or is it how they go about their execute? There's just so many variables because every team is so good.
And I like it, but I also hate it because it's like, I like those weekends where you're like, yep, here's our turnaround weekend. And now it's like, oh God, here we go again.
You don't get that.
I mean, because I think really the bottom of the SEC would have to be what, Missouri and maybe Oklahoma this year. Like maybe. Like,
yeah,
we just don't know.
Yeah, like those are terrible. Those two teams are just as good as the other ones we've discussed. And
exactly.
Like it's such a tough,
So I hear what you're saying about A&M, but I think they take a step backwards this year because Schlossnagle pushed every right button. I don't know that the new coach will be able to do that.
I think you're spot on. I think it's wild, like you have all these dynamic, like just some of these coaches in the SEC too. It's just phenomenal to watch. Something else is like, you wonder, we haven't really got to see what, we know what the SEC and football is going to look like. We're about to see what the basketball is going to look like with adding Texas and Oklahoma in. Again, I think the best teams this year will probably be just like we discussed with football, who got drawn the best schedules. And you don't really know, like, it's crazy, but like that's going to be a big thing, home field advantage, things like that. And then how do some of those Pac-12 teams that are now in the Big Ten, like that's going to be a whole, like that conference is probably a lot better now than it has been.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun to watch how it kind of bleeds into basketball and baseball, because we've seen it on football. I love it. I think they need to make some adjustments to the college football playoff and how, but I love like what it is, like the dynamics of getting to play in the playoff setting. I love that. I think they're probably going to have to make some adjustment to conference championship games, because it's like they matter, but not as much.
They really don't. They've lost the luster, and it kind of sucks.
So there's some adjustments like that will adapt, but just like with the whole NIL and Diego getting an extra year and everything, like all this is gonna keep adapting. We're just gonna have to get on for the ride.
Right.
So,
I tell you, a baseball team to look at their schedule is Oregon State. So they got left out in terms of like when the conference ended. Their baseball schedule is one of the most entertaining schedules I have ever seen. They play a list of everybody. I think they have like 8 straight games against like elite teams to like start the year. And they have Oregon on their schedule. They play Grand Canyon. They have Iowa on their schedule this year. They have, I think, Auburn, Virginia, and a few others early.
Also just all over, just great teams.
Yes, it is probably the best schedule that they have had in years. And I am very curious to see, like, because they get the schedule where they can win like 50 games in a season. This year, on the other hand, it's like they might win like low 30s. And I'm excited to see them play this year.
Well, when they don't have the conference, like if they don't get any of the strength of schedule from conference, you got to get it somewhere.
Absolutely.
What I've learned from the baseball tournament especially is like teams get screwed and a little, it's different from the football where people are talking like, oh, may as well schedule easy because then you'll get in, where like baseball, that RPI stuff is no joke.
I wish football would get to that point, though.
Yeah, RPI. I don't know. It's hard because they don't play enough games.
Yeah.
See, for me, people talk about Indiana's schedule. That wasn't an easy schedule. I don't get where people say that.
Their schedule was easier than most, but they still had to play in the Big Ten.
But hear me out. If you're coming off a 2-10 win season, like they were, and you're told you have to travel to the defending national champions and host the defending national runners-up, are you taking that schedule? If it's offered to you? You're saying,
can you really say no though?
You're going to say, no, I don't want that because that's a difficult schedule.
Yeah, well, you're going in, you're without a doubt, you're going in, you're saying, hey, like, what do you expect this program to look like after year one? What do you expect to look like after year two and then year three? Like, what are your expectations? What are your expectations? What do you think our fan base like? What do we expect? Because I do think he probably did look at the job and say, "Oh, we were 2-10 last year. I'm definitely taking this job because I could go 6-6 and I look like a success in year one, right?" But I will say, even if you want to talk about their schedule, going 11-2 or whatever they did overall on the season, like definitely a phenomenal year. Like I don't. Here's what I would say though. Like I'm not upset about Ole Miss and Alabama and maybe South Carolina, those teams being left at home, because if you take care of business, you're in, and you're in over. And you know what? Like Indiana only lost one game going in, they're in. If Alabama doesn't lose to Oklahoma, they're a 2-loss team, but they're probably in over
easily
SMU or who. Like SMU's probably not even getting to play because they lost the ACC championship to Clemson. You know, so at the same time, I'm like,
you got to take care of your business and the story.
Yeah. And no matter what's on your schedule, and if you say, well, we should have scheduled easier, whatever to get in the game. Well, like your conference schedule is going to fluctuate, so it's like you can't help. Indiana can't help if they're not in the SEC, and that's just is what it is. But at the same time, you're in control of your game. So if you are in the SEC and you lose 3 games, probably
it's your own fault.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that if Indiana and Alabama played in that game on a neutral field that Alabama could beat Indiana. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if Alabama takes care of business and only loses 2 games, they're in. So.
See, and for the people that say Alabama would beat Indiana, stop. You never even had to lead one time against Vanderbilt. You got ran off the field by Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's right. I will say, that was kind of tough, and just the nature of it's the depth, right? Like you having that depth to go through, but like if Diego, he just wasn't quite healthy. You know what I'm saying? Right. And he kind of was banged up that back end. But he fits that same mold of the Johnny Manziel or the Baker Mayfield, those guys in college that are just dynamic. They give your team a chance, and then they surrounded that team with some better culture, some better chemistry and juju going on in between them. And I think him getting banged up is just tough, but they'll build around him. They'll get a little bit better on the roster next year. And they're, this, you watched them all year. They were 1 or 2 plays away from being a 8 or 9 win team.
Oh, absolutely.
If CJ Taylor makes the play against Georgia State, I hate that he didn't, but if he makes the play against them, that's 8 wins. And then just if they call the safety right against Missouri, that's 9 wins because that was a safety. I don't care what they say. It was a safety. Yeah. It was not forward progress at the 1. We tackled him in the end zone. That's a safety. So if they call that right, it don't go into overtime. We win that game. That's 9 wins.
And then, the Texas game was in grasp the whole game.
Yeah.
That could have been 10.
That was a 4-point game there.
Then you had nothing to win against A.J. Swan and his LSU Tigers, but,
that was a 7-point game, and we had a chance at the end there too.
Y'all did. Y'all really did. It was a good game.
I'll tell you, this is way looking beyond. We got all these other topics. You guys probably are like, gosh, we got this baseball coach on here, and we've talked a lot about our baseball.
We talk everything.
And my team, so I love it. But I love getting on here and chatting up about everything. This is way down the road, but Billy Napier keeping his job, I'm telling you, Florida is going to have the best chance to get back to being relevant next year than they've ever had.
Yes,
agreed.
Weathered that storm, and he actually he had them playing pretty dang good there at the end.
He did. Yep. He really did. They were fantastic.
You go to overtime. They went to overtime at Tennessee. That could have gone, we came through there. But I'm just saying, him weathering that storm, Florida's going to be. That's going to be one of my picks next year on the football side.
Yep.
And here's the thing: I don't think that happens if the quarterback doesn't get hurt. Because
Sure.
he said many times it was Graham Mertz's team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If Mertz doesn't get hurt, Lagway never plays.
And I think also them announcing that he was returning next year, I think also lit a fire under that team. They're like, good, we got our coach and we're going. Because I liked what I saw. Because, I mean, so before the season started, we did some season previews for some teams and released shorts on YouTube. And we got lit up by Florida fans. I mean, I had 2-10 for them this year. And the way they started, it looked like that was a good pick.
Yeah.
And I was very, as much as I dislike Florida, I was very happy to see them prove me wrong.
Heck yeah. I mean, I was obviously, I know on the coaching side, you know, I know you get paid a lot, but I was like, man, like after it was all done, like Billy Napier, I was like, man, credit to you. Like you weathered that storm and look at what you did and all that. That's awesome. I'll tell you, the one for me is how crazy the spiral of Florida State football has been from like, oh, we got screwed, we're not playing, like all this mess to, oh, okay, that's how you feel. Well, you've done a really good job showing that you're capable of, you know, being in the big time. So they've really got some changes to make down there.
Yep.
It's tough. And, you know, it's honestly like adaptable and stuff, but like also sticking to your ways. Like people want to give Clemson a knock or like Dabo Swinney, and I get it. Like maybe they're not where his peak was either because he doesn't want to fully this NIL stuff he's not used to. Same reason Nick Saban's like this is wild and all this stuff. But like he's kept his program plugging along, and I think it's because he's stuck just to his, you know, like he may have a ceiling where he can't maybe get it to here. But I'm not going to be the one that believes that because, you know, everybody thought, oh, they're not going to make it because they're done, and he did well enough to get in that playoff, and I know they needed some help. But
you bring up Nick Saban. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Nick Saban being on game day is the greatest thing ever.
Oh, I could watch him and Pat McAfee. He just looks at Pat McAfee like, "What are you about to say?" And but those two make College Game Day. Now.
Yeah,
they are the best. It is hilarious.
It is great. When Shane Gillis was on there, I was crying, laughing the whole time because you could just tell Nick did not like him at all.
Yeah.
Oh, he said he was on McAfee the other day, and you said something about his daughter likes him and is going to go see him. He said, "So there's at least one person in our family that likes him."
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, because I'm going to that stand-up show as well. I'll be there when she's there. Interesting.
But no,
So
Pat,
you gave your SEC preview.
Yeah.
Me being the connoisseur of hot takes, your bottom three teams in the SEC this year:
Oh,
Missouri, Kentucky, Ole Miss.
wow.
I can't agree on Ole Miss. Nope. Mm-mm.
And I say that about Kentucky because they were full of JUCO players last year and transfers that have all graduated and moved on, and everybody that they tried to get in the portal went to the major league draft.
Yeah, that is true.
So you've got an empty house now.
Yeah, I think that South Carolina is going to be one of the bottom teams just because I know they hired Paul Maneri, but I think that it's just not quite going to be I think it's going to take some time to adjust. So I think they'll be a bottom. I think, it's brutal. I think they'll be a bottom. And anybody else, I don't have enough. Like, I haven't looked into it enough to know. But that's like my one that just makes sense. And then you do have a lot of teams that do have a lot to prove this year, like Mizzou. I know they want to get back in the thick of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss has got to respond. Mississippi State was better, but they want to get back. It's championship or bust for them every year. Arkansas is obviously going to be up there. There's no way they're not up there. Kentucky, their expectations have now risen because of the year they had. Florida's going to be up there. It's just is there a team? It's just crazy to me. It's crazy, like all the teams that we've talked about that are just loaded up. Gosh, this picking Vandy as a bottom 3 team, that's tough. I never can do that. Never can do that. Kentucky, I get that. Like, people want to see them do it twice, if that makes sense. Like I tell people that all the time. Like, oh, when you win a championship, I'm like, well, when I win a championship, I'm going to say, well, it's a fluke. We've got to continue to, kind of hold that standard. That's what it's about. But it's like Kentucky's going to have to hold off doubters of like, oh, just have one really, really good year. South Carolina, new coach, going to have to rebuild, and then Vandy's still going to have people, again, be like, oh, they're just not what they were. Ole Miss is going to be like, they won a championship and then now they fell off. They need to make a coaching change. I'm like, you still got one of the best coaches in the country,
Exactly.
You think about, it's absolutely loaded up. And then, LSU, we haven't even discussed them enough, but come on now.
That team's scary this year. I think this team is more talented than the championship team 2 years ago.
Stop it.
Easily.
Stop it.
Yeah, you'll see in a few weeks. I'm not kidding.
Well, I know you love seeing Skeens win the rookie that was awesome. Wasn't it?
I love that kid. Such a good dude. But no, the one thing about LSU this year that scares me is we have 2 freshmen coming in that turned down first round MLB draft money to come to college. That scares me. You also had 3 guys come from JUCOs that were projected, or actually are projected next year to be top 2 to 3 round picks. You have a lot of solid dudes coming in this year. But the big thing is, though, all these dudes coming in, can Jay Johnson puzzle them together? Because I think he's overloaded on his roster.
Yeah,
that kind of sucks.
You gotta manage that locker room a little bit.
Let me remind you that just a few years ago, you had a guy give up first round major league draft money and come to school.
Mm-hmm.
And it took him until his last year there to win a championship.
He got a championship, though.
How long did it take him? It don't happen in year 1.
Well, it happens.
You know as well as I do. It don't.
Yeah, it doesn't. Obviously, there's no way to predict who's going to win a national championship in baseball. I don't care how many stats you look at, how many details you see. It's about who's hot when it matters the most. And I think Tennessee I think the last 2 years, Tennessee and LSU, both those teams, they got hot when it mattered, but they were also very dominant leading up to that point. So that made sense.
Those last 2 champions have been kind of the outlier too, because you're right. Like, you could argue before the season, those 2 of the best teams, and they kind of ran it all the way through, and they were playing the best at the end. But you need a lot of things to go your way, and like it goes to what you're building all year, because Tennessee, like, I remember they came back and won that game versus Florida State, that first game in the College World Series. And at that point, I was like, they're going to win it all. Like, I felt so good about it, because you get to that stage and you have that overcoming game, and it's already in your mind, like, we're going to win no matter what. It's just like, once you get in that, it's amazing. But also, if you do end up losing, because a lot of those guys have that belief, like, we're going to win no matter what, it is. It's crippling for them.
Yeah, absolutely. As LSU fan, we were heartbroken last year when we got eliminated. North Carolina, like, it felt like we had their number, and we just could not get by them. And I think that team, we returned a lot of players from that team last year, and the biggest kicker this year coming in is the pitching staff is the healthiest that we've seen at LSU probably in 5 years, and that's something we've needed to see. And now, can these young arms put it together? Like, we have Chase Shores coming back from Tommy John, who was throwing, 98, 99 before he got hurt. They've said he's hit triple digits on the gun a few times already in his comeback.
It's crazy.
I'm ready to see it.
But the question is he accurate with that 100?
Oh, absolutely. No, he was actually, had we made the super regional, he was coming back for that last year. Like he was already recovered and ready to go. And I mean, there is a little bit of with his secondary pitches, there is some control stuff they're still working on. It's not like it's like he's gonna throw like a high amount of walks, but it's still just finding that right spot for him. And if he can really get it together, it's over.
A lot of those guys too, like with the secondary stuff, they gotta throw it all the time because they got to get to the point where they're confident in it and they trust it. And it's like we talk about zones in our program. It's like you want to throw it here, but you want it to bang through, like, hey, like I want your starting point to be the 5 zone is what I would call it, but you're going to bang it through the 7, which is kind of like the chase area for us. But that's what this time of year is for sure. Hopefully we can set something up. I can find time within our schedule, but I would love to get on about March or maybe right when SEC play starts in baseball, or right before, so we can talk about like, hey, this team's kind of panning out like we thought. This pitcher's doing really well.
Absolutely.
But it's my juices are already flowing for it. It's like I can feel the warm weather starting to my veins.
Well, we say that now and then, in like 10 days when all that ice comes in, good Lord. Literally, when your guys report back, it's going to be like the coldest it's been in forever. So that's going to be fun.
So you said you want to come back on in March, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Love chatting it up with you guys. It's awesome.
I know some dates.
We'll get them.
You already got dates. I love it.
March 28th.
March 28th. I'll put it on my calendar.
I'm down.
Post-game interview.
Oh,
is that the one you're going to?
We're doing a live post-game interview at Columbia State. Is that what I think that's what I'm hearing.
Hey, we can set that up actually. That can work. I can do all the back end stuff and absolutely. Well,
they have a guy and he's awesome, dude. I talk to him every time we go there and play. He runs. It's called the tnsportsnet.com, but he streams all the Columbia State sports for the most part. Definitely on baseball. He's got a YouTube stream, kind of like you guys are running, where it's like he'll have them all posted live, and it's nice because I can always, it's kind of everywhere in the conference. If we're going to play at Columbia State, I can send that link out to my group meet with all my kids, and they can send it to their parents if they can't be there or wherever we go. And so, like I said, I got to do a better job making sure I send you guys the links to my game. So then when you get on here with me, you're going to be like, hey, Miles Denton or Jackson Knotts pitched this game, or, John O'Pierce, he's your leadoff guy. How do you think, Cade Martin, he's playing, like all these guys you guys will be able to ask me about. I'm going to be like, man, these guys are treating me like I'm an SEC baseball coach. They know
I'm ready to do that. That will be a lot of fun. Because video editing is something I like to do. So, yes, I want all the footage you got. I chop it up and get it ready to go.
Right on. Well, hey, I will make my my plug in here. I know you guys are big on YouTube and Facebook and all that. But if you do have an Instagram, if you will follow at RSCC Baseball, real simple, RSCC Baseball.
Do it right now.
On Instagram, and you'll be able to go watch reels of all my guys. I'll post highlights through the season. I post a lot of our workouts. You'll see more than anything. You'll see my guys working out. So I joke with people and say we don't practice baseball. We just go lift and show up to the field for games. But definitely that's a good way to follow our guys.
Well, it's blurry, but followed.
Yeah, that's it. RSCC Baseball. We've got I always it's kind of like a mix of our colors. We've got those Dodgers colors, so I always try to make our stuff fresh there. So
this is amazing. You were not kidding when you said you got film. This is seriously fantastic.
That's all.
Somebody was retweeting a lot of their stuff on X last year when they put in players.
You were. I appreciate that. But
that was fun.
Yeah,
and tagging all the big names like Kendall Rogers and all that.
So what's kind of what I do this year is I do all the stuff on Instagram, and so I posted like all those reels I got up there. They're fall highlight stuff. I'll do the same for spring, And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll post them to Instagram, and then I'll screen record my screen, and I'll video, and then I'll post something to Twitter or X, because it's like that's the hardest part, is like getting your video to not be blurry. Like the quality is the hardest thing. And you got to make sure you're already filming super clear, because you're going to lose some of that quality in the, and that's what's hard about it. But I always try to post it out there, because you never know who's going to see it and want to give the guy an opportunity, or call me and be like, hey, I saw the video, let's talk about this guy. And it's always fun. So,
well, I will tell you this. If you ever need assistance with editing players' footage, let us know. We will take care of you.
That's awesome. I appreciate that, guys. That's awesome.
For sure.
So, yeah, we set this up to do a post-game interview on the 28th of March. You'll have to get with your Columbia State guy and see if he can set us up where we can go live right there at the stadium.
Heck yeah. Well, we'll get and Coach Ammon's over there. He's awesome. I think, like, me and him, I think we may be the two youngest coaches. He's great. He coached there under Coach Korn. Now he's getting his opportunity, and they had a good year last year too. So we'll see what we can get set up, and if that works, amazing. And if not, we'll find another night to chalk it up on here. And I'll be excited. I'm probably going to try to tune in for Connor on Friday if that shakes out, because you guys will like him. He's a good young man. So
yeah, we're excited.
There's actually a player at Columbia State. I don't know if he's still going to be there this year or not, but he's involved with the program that has one heck of a story behind him. Was prepared to go play D1 baseball, got hurt in a car accident, ends up at Columbia State. He's never played baseball again since then, but his one dream is to take an at-bat and a single at-bat in a college game. And I bet you know who I'm talking about, Coach.
I think I've heard somebody told me about this. Is this what's his name?
The kid from Lawrence County.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to follow up about that.
Let me go back and look at messages.
I think I remember that story when it came out, actually. Yep.
That's awesome. It's great when you find, like every program, like we've had a couple situations where you just want to give your guys, experiences, and him being able to have that experience is special, but it gives us all, something to really look on and say like, hey, like, this is a lot bigger than us just playing a game. This is really about what we're able to do in life and accomplish and grow into the people we're being, because he obviously went through some pretty intense adversity, and that's the type of stories that I can grow from, and y'all can. So that's awesome.
Give me just a second. I'll remember. His name escapes me at the moment.
I can't find it. I'll try. Let me see some of these comments. I know we had a lot of comments tonight. Oh, hey, Terry. So I have to be honest, I did not read any of the comments for probably the last hour because I totally forgot that we had comments. I was so stuck in the conversation. So I'm going to answer this one for Terry. I actually think UCLA is going to do fantastic in the Big Ten. I think that I will never doubt the UCLA program because they are one of the blue bloods of college baseball in my eyes. And I actually think that they're going to do quite well. They have a very good team coming back, and I actually look forward to seeing what they do this year. Shut up, Terry. Also, yes, the high tide. Chris, do you know about that?
I do not.
Alabama football players were at a theme park recently, and a bunch of people were in there, and they were greeting them. They were just saying "High Tide" instead of "Roll Tide." It was hilarious.
Hey, I'm sorry. I had to go use the restroom. We've been in here chatting it up, and
No, you're good, man.
we've been getting after with all this info. But yeah, I heard about the comments. Yeah, Terry, really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Terry, he's one of our most loyal viewers. He's actually come on the show a few times with us. He actually creates a special burger for us, literally on demand when we ask him to.
Hey, it's the way to a man's heart is the food.
It's true. That is very true.
What's one of y'all's recommendations the next time I come to Nashville area of places I need to try if I haven't?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Got anything in mind, or do y'all just have a go-to? No, because I'm pretty solid. Like I know they go up on prices, and stuff like that. But like I'll go to Chipotle and I'll get in a thing where I'll go to Chipotle all the time. So I'm always looking for new places.
I rarely go to Nashville. Don't forget I'm in Alabama, so I'm far from Nashville. But yeah, so I don't have many recommendations, unfortunately.
I remember the player's name.
Okay.
Cade Schultz.
Cade Schultz.
I do. Okay, that makes sense. Yep.
From Lawrence County, you said, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome. I'll have to ask Coach Hammonds about him, see how things are going.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That being said, I will be attending quite a few University of Montevallo games. I know you had a former player play for them a couple seasons ago.
I had a pitcher that went there. Beautiful camps. They've had a good program for a while. Coach Rose, the head coach up there, he was an assistant for a while, I believe, and then took over. But
yeah, you had a pitcher 2 seasons ago pitch for them?
Yeah, Danny Glenos. He was at University of Montevallo. He's trying to get a professional contract right now, so that's exciting. He posted a video the other day. And he got a little hop and skip before he did it. Wasn't like a full run and throw, but just like a little hop before, and he hit 100 miles an hour. So he's trying to.
Well, he'll probably get
playing a little while. It's just kind of a lower level, but seriously, you guys should kind of keep up with it. Is the big Division II baseball conference around us is the Gulf South.
I've heard yeah.
And it's Trevecca has always played in the Great Midwest, the GMAC, but they're moving into the Gulf South this year. So you've got Trevecca, Lee University in Cleveland, Union University in Jackson, West Florida, West Alabama, Montevallo, Mississippi College, Christian Brothers. I'm missing one, but it's like that's a really good
heck yeah
U2 conference teams and Trevecca and Lee both have been playing really good baseball the last couple of years. But it's that's a fun one. And then I think all the Georgia, they play in the Peach Belt and then the Sunshine State. And we have Carson Newman over by us, and they're in the SAC, South Atlantic. But it's just loaded. Like people don't realize Tennessee is Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, like there's so much college baseball. And people, it's really competitive stuff. Alabama junior college baseball, they've got so many teams that they have a D1 and a D2 league.
Yeah, it's ridiculous too. And the weird thing though is in Alabama, JUCO baseball is not talked about a lot here.
Yeah, I know, and it should be. They got some good
it really should be.
But
so I'm gonna give a heads up on a player.
Okay, I'm listening always.
He was a Vanderbilt commit, and he decommitted. But he went out to Arizona last year with the perfect game series. Absolutely showed out. Pitcher / first baseman.
I already know he knows this kid.
He probably does. He may have transferred high schools. He's now at Loretto High School.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, he's one of the brothers. So, is it McIlvain? Is that their last names?
No.
No, the McIlvain, the younger one of him.
This one, his brother pitched at Western Kentucky last year.
Oh yeah, I recruited him out of high school, but I'm the youngest one. I'm blanking on. I don't
Grayson
know.
Burleson.
Yeah, the Burleson family.
Yes.
Burlesons. Yep.
I can't. It's hard for me to see a Burleson in a Loretto uniform. It's just, no, that's not okay.
Well, I have Kane Koenig. He's committed for next year. He's from town.
Yep.
So
good ball player.
He's committed to Roane, and it's always funny how some of that works. Is like I usually find guys in Middle Tennessee that I like, and I always love the one where it's nice to talk to you guys where you have kind of a connection, or where I'm talking about, or the area. Makes it a lot more fun for me. So,
what's your radius of recruiting, by the way?
California.
What I would say is most of it's Tennessee because you have Teen Hope and Promise, and that's a big piece when trying to get kids to come play ball. You have about 6 or 7 out-of-state waivers that you can use on out-of-state kids. And so, but you just those kids, if they're coming in, you really have to cover their out-of-state tuition and their in-state because you kind of got to get them on that equal playing ground for scholarship-wise as the Teen Hope and Promise kids. So those kids just if they're coming out of state, you have to see them making an immediate impact. And there's some schools in our conference that they kind of go like we don't, but they kind of go not all out of state, but they take advantage of E-rate. So basically, if you go get a kid from like Florida or Alabama or Georgia, and you really want them at TBR, which is Tennessee Board of Regents Junior College, and you say, hey, I want you to come here, but we're going to, sometimes they spin it for recruiting, but it's really all just kind of not true. But they tell them like, hey, if you take all classes online and you don't step foot on campus, they can't charge you out-of-state tuition. It's called E-rate. So they get them a cheaper rate. And I'm sure when they're in the recruiting process, they kind of can spin it to sound like the kid's getting some kind of awesome deal, but it's really just E-rate. So an online, like if you're all online, for example, and you can kind of, if you reading the wording of the rule, I brought it to my school and they were like, we don't like, that's not, we don't think that's real. And I'm like, well, other schools I'm competing against are doing it. So, but so that way you can kind of get more out of state guys if you think they're going to help you. But I would just say out of state guys in general, they cost so much. You got to make sure they make an impact. It's mostly in state, but my bulk area I recruit out of is Middle Tennessee. I love Middle Tennessee. It's from I like pulling guys over here to play, and then I kind of mix in some East Tennessee guys, and that I like my roster, so I'm going to keep doing it.
There you go. I like it.
On the kid from Summertown, I'm pretty sure I know his daddy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Met his dad, and I'm telling you, that kid's a worker. He works his tail off. I'm so excited.
He gets it on us too.
And his sister played college softball, I think, at Dyersburg, and
Kylie
on after that. But yeah, I'm super excited about him. He's going to be a big piece for us, and he works hard, so that'll be good.
If you want to have some fun one night, on YouTube, there's a channel called X Sports. Okay. So they broadcast all of the Lawrence County, Loretto, and Summertown high school games.
Oh, nice.
And they have a different broadcast crew for each school. And Mr. Kinnick is the one that does the Summertown games. So
nice.
You'll have to jump in one night and say, "Hey."
Yeah. Well, it's probably good. It's probably good. I probably need to make sure I say their last name correctly instead of how it looks on the screen to me. But
you said it correctly.
Okay, good.
Yep.
But anyways, that's awesome. I'm excited about him. I'm excited about his baseball season rolling around. excited for the SEC baseball schedule and following all those teams and coaches. I'd just be interested to see now with us making these picks on these games. I'm going to be thinking about you guys tomorrow night on this college football stuff.
For sure.
Most definitely.
Exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I can't wait. Well, boys, we've been at it for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Time
don't
flies
seem
when
that
you're having fun, man.
It really does. I can't believe it's been that long. It doesn't seem like it.
See, now if this was a Division I program, the SID would be all over us for keeping your coach
we'll be
for 2
killing
hours.
this right now.
Hey, it's all good. I'm blessed to be able to do it, and I love talking to you guys. So I do it as long as possible, and I'm thankful enough. My wife was like, "I'm going to bed." I'm a night hawk. I stay up and work on stuff. And she's an early riser and goes to bed early like a normal person should. But I get to stay with you guys and chat it up. So I appreciate it, and can't wait to do it again here in a couple months. All right.
Absolutely. Well, man, we
Appreciate you coming on with
having
us.
you on.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.
All right, man. Have a good one. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Coach Cam Hamsley. That was a great, great conversation tonight. I had no idea we were going to go that long with him. That was awesome.
Whatever.
I would say I'm happy to go as long as the guest wants to go with us.
I let him control the topics, and we go from there and just chit-chat.
Absolutely. And honestly, if there was ever a time for a coach to use a video as a recruiting point, I think tonight's episode would be it. Because if a kid wants to actually see the real personality and learn more about a person, I feel like they would get a good opportunity from what they saw tonight.
So it's funny. He said he's got a kid from Summertown.
Mm-hmm.
I know the kid's dad. I really do.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I may be attached to Roane State baseball for quite some time now.
I mean, I feel like we're already at that point. Like, we're Roane State fans.
So, Terry, to answer your question, it's Roane State Community College. It's in Upper East Tennessee. It's a member of the Tennessee Junior College Athletic Association. And it's his, he said, fourth year there, fifth,
yes,
sixth year?
Fourth season.
Fourth season as head coach.
But he had his one interim year before that, too. So, technically, fifth year, I guess you could say.
To give you an idea, he took over a program that had won like 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
And in his third season, they went 28 and won 28 ball games, which is the most they've won in over 20 years.
And this year, over 30 is the goal.
Amazing. Yep. He's done amazing things up there. Super proud of him. Get to call him a friend.
Absolutely. I am amazed that basically all the players that went to the next level from last year's team, that was cool to hear.
Yes.
Because we got to see it, him on social media sharing those guys. And I mean, we would retweet everything we could. And, hearing that they got picked up by very notable teams, that is fantastic. Oh, and Terry, yes, I fumbled it like crazy tonight. I, honest to God truth, was so stuck in the conversation that I didn't even look at the comments. I went full screen on this thing and was just talking and enjoying. Right. It was fun. We had some, I'm not going to use the word competition, but there was also another podcast going tonight. So I actually try to make it where I shared more to just the baseball side to kind of draw those people in tonight. So our views tonight are probably going to be a little bit lower than normal, which is fine with us because honestly, we're not here for the views. We're here to just have a good conversation and get the word out there.
But guess what? There's more.
There's always more.
I received a text message on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
Another friend of the show, Mr. CJ Taylor, has agreed to come back on. He's going to set the date for us, and we'll do it whenever he says he's ready to come on, but he has agreed to come on. And Friday night, we're going to have a D1 college baseball player, Connor Bowden from Middle Tennessee State, come on and join us for a few minutes. Won't be no 2 hours like this one, but we'll get a good conversation with him and
I mean, if he wants to go 2 hours, I mean, hey, we'll let him go.
Right.
But I don't think he's got that in him.
We'll see what life is like as a Division I freshman trying to break into a college baseball lineup, and
yeah, because I mean,
his journey there.
Yeah, because I mean, that's a big thing to think about. Being big man on campus in high school, you know, playing travel ball, getting all the exposure you get from that, and then going in and not having to go the JUCO route or go in D2 or anything like that. You go straight D1, and you go into a team that is looking for outfielders because Middle Tennessee State lost quite a few players from their team last year. They finished a little bit below 500 last season, but they had a very good offense on them, a team that was really improving, and they have a lot of good pieces coming back this year. Middle Tennessee State is going to have a very good team this year. I really believe that. And I look forward to really just talking to him about really what it's been like jumping from high school to college, what he's had to learn, where his adversity has been with him, and where he sees himself fitting in to the team and where he's going to contribute this coming season. Because I think it's going to be a really good interview. Yes, and I want to hear Terry's story about his plumbing line.
And I'm also working on possibly getting a Division I women's college basketball player on.
Okay, who's that?
One of my favorite players of all time,
Bella LaChance.
Yep.
How did I remember that? Is my question.
She is at Furman now.
Okay. That's right. I remember. Yeah, I remember you said she was transferring out. That's right.
Yep. She's at Furman now, working on trying to get her on.
$3,000 to fix that? Good Lord, Terry. Can I hold $1?
He's talking about his plumbing. You'll have to check out the baseball chat, Cody.
Okay.
Yeah. We're talking $10,000 price tag on that.
You talking about your daughter?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my gosh. Also, I got to show you this, Chris, while I'm thinking about it. You want to see a crazy number from the NFL? Check this out. I'm not saying Jaden Daniels is better than Patrick Mahomes before anyone assumes that. I am not saying that in any way whatsoever. I just want to show this, though. It popped up on my social media as we were going live, and I'm impressed, to say the least.
Yeah.
Which, obviously, Jaden's a different style of player, though. Because, I mean, yes, he throws a pass, but he also runs the ball a lot. He broke RG3's rushing record. And, I mean, yeah. But his passer rating being a 101.2 is quite amazing. Because he does throw the ball quite a bit. It's not like he doesn't throw the ball. But he makes plays with his legs. I'm very impressed with what the Commanders have done this year.
Yeah.
Being 11-5 right now, potentially finishing 12-5 on the regular season. I mean, that's a huge turnaround for that team.
I'm generally not an advocate of firing a coach in year one.
Mm-hmm.
But when a lot of people were picking you to win your division with a first-year coach, and you end up with a either 1 or 2 draft pick, something has gone horribly wrong.
But who are you alluding to?
Brian Callahan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because there were a lot of people picking Tennessee to win the South.
There were, actually.
Because of the moves they made in the offseason. Something has gone horribly, horribly wrong. So I'm not normally an advocate of a coach being let go after 1 year, but when it ain't working, it ain't working.
Oh, I fully agree. So I've got to show one video real quick before we get off the air here. Actually, I might show 2 videos. Let me see if this is right here. So that will be one of them. But let me show this one real quick. It might be one of the funniest videos I've seen recently. It's from Antonio Brown. So you know it's going to be good. So let me show this real quick.
This year's nominees for the funniest cracker of the year are Kevin Hart, Pat McAfee, Shane Gillis, Theo Vaughn, and of course, Joe Biden. And the winner of the 2024 Funniest Cracker of the Year award, Shane Gillis. Congratulations on winning.
It's such an honor, dude. I saw the the nominees. There's some great nominees, but I mean, this is the best award you can possibly win, and I'm so excited, bro. Thank you.
I know you won a lot of awards in your life. How did this accolade stack up with other accolades, man?
Comedian Cracker of the Year. This is big for me because I feel like the Grammys might have snubbed me, but you don't need, I'd take Cracker of the Year over Grammy any day. This is huge.
Cracker of the Year. While you're on Cracker of the Year stuff, if this will load.
Looks like it loaded.
Let's do another one.
Okay. Go ahead.
Willie? Yes. It is my honor and privilege to let you know you have been selected as the Cracker Fan of the Year for 2024. You won the award, Fan of the Year, Willie.
Oh, man, congratulations. I want to thank everybody.
You want to thank AB? Who else you want to thank?
AB, the University of Alabama, all of my fans. And mainly, I want to thank my agent, Chad, for getting me where I'm at right now.
Really?
And I wouldn't be there if it wasn't for you.
Hey, we love you, man, and that's a big accomplishment to win. 2024 Fan of the Year. Do you feel good?
Yeah, I feel good.
Well, if you had to tell them one thing, Willie, what you gonna tell them, Willie?
Don't give a piss about nothing but the Shire. And we love y'all.
Blitz, Bama, Blitz. Let's go, baby.
Let's go, and I appreciate everybody.
The man had a tear in his eye.
He did.
I love it, though. I mean, he deserves it. He really does. He's great. So there is a video I want to share, and I want to give a backstory to it so people understand. This is going to be the last video I show tonight, and then we'll get off here because we've been on here all night, and I got to work in the morning, and so does Chris. So, lucky you, Fancy Pants. I wish we had New Year's Eve off, but it's all good. So I actually had a meeting today with a guy that lives up in Tennessee at work, and we were supposed to be talking about like job status and all that. And instead we were talking about MMA and Memphis sports. So that was our whole meeting today. It was awesome.
Memphis sports.
Well, he kind of lives on like just outside of Memphis, kind of in Randy's area. But so I have been obsessed with like, I'm not sure exactly where they're from. I know they are, I guess they're probably Islamic, I would say, but I just call it Islam humor because it's funny. It really is. They play pranks on each other, and it's I don't know how to describe it, but these videos pop up on my social media like crazy, and I'm talking about I am crying laughing when I watch these pranks these guys play on each other. So let me play this real quick and tell me if I'm crazy or tell me if this is not the funniest stuff you've done.
صباح الخير.
صباح الورد.
شو النوم؟
طيبين؟
طيبين.
والله بخير الحمد لله.
زين. أنا شفت فيديو قديم مالك يوم أنت كنت حاطلنا في التيك توك.
أيوه.
وتقول إنك أنت
خلينا أتكلم.
إنك أنت صرت نمر.
النمر العربي اللي في الهدى.
في الطايف.
إيه في الهدى.
زين قول لي شو هذه القصة؟
يا أبوي كنا قاعدين نتغدى. حلو؟ وكان من فوق الجبل نشوف الشيء هذا نازل.
زين.
العيال قالوا لي النمر قوم نشرد، قلت ما اشرد انا من الاسد النمر انا.
ايوه.
انا ما اشرد.
شو سويت في النمر؟
انا اخاف من النمر؟
شو سويت في النمر؟
اقول لك مسكته من فمه كده وسحبته. مسكته من فمه وسحبته.
يس.
حلو؟
حلو.
اقول لك فكني، يقول لي قلت له ما افكك.
ايوه.
قلت له ما افكك.
ايوه.
حلو؟
حلو.
يا ابويا المهم فجأة كده
النمر وين؟ يعني الفيديوهات اللي في التيك توك تقول صيد النمور غلط ها؟
I hate to say it. I played the wrong video. I think it's this one. Hold on. Wait,
Stop. What was that stain on that couch?
Oh, there's all kinds of stains. So they do all kinds. They like super glue each other to couches. They tie them together. Like, let me see if this is the video.
Everything والله زيادة. أيوة. أنت لازم تجيب بونص زيادة.
تعال سوي انت
انا ما
تعال انت سوي
انا ما
لا انت خشني
أنا ما
انا ما يخليني كتاب بالله
He's a
So
midget.
so there's another one, and I didn't upload it. I'm mad. I'm gonna send it to you in chat after the show. And I'm talking about it had me crying because the big black guy on there, there's a rope tied to his leg, but they tied it to this other little dwarf guy's leg. It's not he wasn't in either of these videos, and the dwarf guy doesn't realize that he's part of the prank. So they play a joke on the guy. I think they hit him with like a little pie in the face or something, and the guy gets up and runs, and this little guy goes, "Ah!" Just flies off the couch and just goes outside. So funny. So I will send you that after the show. But anywho, we've been at 2.5 hours. So Chris, what are your final thoughts for tonight?
I was told 3 years ago, NIL was the end of Vanderbilt football, Vanderbilt athletics, because Vanderbilt could not compete in the NIL era. I'm here to tell you, just like I told you 3 years ago, if we're going to start paying players and buying players, don't count us out. We got money. But that's not my final thought. My final thought is all weekend long, I've seen Tennessee fans posting stuff about Diego Pavia. If you're not worried about little old Vanderbilt, why are you worried about Vanderbilt? You're posting all of our stuff and making fun of us because we won our bowl game. We won our bowl game. You didn't. Shut up. But beyond that, they're crying because other schools are talking to their players.
Yep.
This should be against the rules.
Just
Guess
say
what?
Randy. Just say Randy.
No, it's not Randy. He's not the one complaining about it.
I know he's not.
But here's the thing. They seem to forget. A certain school sued the NCAA to try to stop them from enforcing their rules.
Yeah.
Do you remember who that school was, Cody?
The University of Tennessee.
Guess what? You sued to stop them from enforcing the rules. You got what you asked for. If another team comes in there and talks to your quarterback during the regular season, I don't care because you called for it. You got what you wanted. Live with it.
That's funny. I love it. I love it. Well, I see an update here. Look at this. Just got back from visiting George, discharging to a rehab facility this week. That is great news.
Nice.
I like hearing that. What's this say? Final thought is take care of your health. Lost another family friend a week ago from cognitive heart failure. Man, very sorry for your loss. That's terrible. And yes, taking care of your health. I agree on that. I'm going to piggyback on that. I've been having some gallbladder issues the last couple months, but the last week it's really been kicking in. Friday night, so thankful we did not go live because I thought I was dying. I think I got an insight of what it felt like to go into labor because it was a pain I ain't never felt before. So think of a stomach ache, but not in your stomach. It was like at the base of my rib cage, and it was just so tight and painful that like if I were to move, I would have cried. It was the weirdest feeling of my life. So I've got to eat better. I don't know what that means, but I got to eat better. Because I was feeling it this afternoon. But it's all good. But no, my final thoughts are we are so much closer to baseball season. I'm very happy. I want to thank Coach Hamsley for coming on with us tonight. That was a great, great chat. Look forward to getting him back on. Definitely wish his team the best of luck this coming season. And what you got, Chris? I know I can see it in your face.
So Terry posts this. Final thought, take care of your health. Lost another family friend a week ago from cognitive heart failure. So if you have not heard, there's a new virus. It's called the H1N5.
I hadn't heard about that one.
It's a clone of the H1N1.
Yeah.
Do you know what the H1N1 is?
I've heard of it. I don't really know much about it, though.
It's bird flu.
Oh,
H1N5 is in humans, and the only way to know that you've got it is if they do a blood panel.
Jeez. That's insane. I know the flu's going around like crazy right now. I'm looking at H1N5 right now.
I just learned this yesterday.
It says it's rare. So 55 human cases as of November 22nd, 29 of them in California. Dang. That's insane. That is absolutely insane.
Bird flu in humans now.
Well, in that case, that's a heck of a way to close it out. 2024 has been a pretty solid year. Look forward to 2025. I can't wait to see where the Golden Boot is heading. I'm very excited about it. I enjoyed going back to some retro roots tonight by going to the Golden Broom name for a minute because we hadn't done that in a very long time, which, as you can see, I even made a special logo for it today, which if we'd have had that logo from the get-go, my God, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not the biggest fan of the logo, but I was like, I don't really feel like getting too deep with it. But no, I almost, if I would have had meetings at work today and I actually had some free time, I would have gone back and found the original, like the one that starts with the drum roll or whatever, the that one. I was going to find that song, put it with the original baseball highlights we used, and I was going to have that intro going. But I was able to find the one that we used tonight, and that was fun to see. It's, you know, even though seeing Variety Sports Network just threw me off.
That popped
too.
up on my screen. I was like, what's going on here?
I mean, hey, but that's where we started. It really is. I
is.
mean, we started independent for like, 2 episodes. Then we joined Variety Sports. They were nice to us, even though I still have a bone to pick with them. I'm still not happy about it when they said, call it the Golden Broom Show, not podcast. That made me mad, and I still hold that grudge against them to this day. But it was nice to get to see the flashback tonight. And yeah, 2025, man. We're not going to scream at you. Nah, No Mercy Sports is great, man. I really like what he does over there. He's very entertaining. He is, and I highly recommend checking his stuff out all the time. I will never talk down on that. Honestly, every show on the Villains Network, I highly endorse because it's good quality content.
I'm just going to say some of the best content on Villains is from the Villains show itself, where me and James get going at each other.
Yes, I do enjoy that, actually. It's a lot of fun. I like going on the Villains show occasionally.
I made him rage quit one night. He literally got up and walked off his stream.
That's amazing.
Came back about 5 minutes later.
That's amazing. I bet he's going to be unbearable this week talking about Notre Dame if they win. Oh, because isn't he a big Notre Dame fan?
Yes.
Oh,
wait a minute. He's got Notre Dame and Alabama and Miami. And
no, you can't do that. No.
I don't think you can do that either, but he does.
I mean, I give people benefit of the doubt, but when you're picking a bunch of like blue blood names, no. It's not acceptable. I don't think you should be allowed to be a fan of more than one team. But you should always, all right, when you're rooting for a football team, I think that's how you should do it. And I'm serious with this. You should have your main team. You should have the service academy team that you would side with. And then you can have an alliance team, a team that you like to see do good, but you can't openly cheer for them or buy their merchandise. So, and that's where Tennessee fits in. But I've always been an Air Force guy. That's always been my service academy team to pull for. Even though with Benjamin Franklin at Navy, kind of got to pull for them right now because, he was on the show and that was a lot of fun, which I think we need to reach out to him and see about getting him back on again too, because that was a fun interview when we had him on. And I know he had some experience. Uh-oh. Pit Viper Chris is here. Oh, hey Terry, here's our case right here. You want to go No Mercy? Or you want to be at the boot? We got the sunglasses too. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always liked that when he would announce a show and he would do that. That was always fun. So
that is correct, Sarah.
That's true. It's very true. Well, all right. Well, anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. Terry, please give us an Air Force burger on Friday's show. Actually, I need 2 burgers. I'm going to need somehow put collard greens and black-eyed peas on a burger for me. Give me a New Year's burger for Friday. And then also I'm going to need my Air Force burger. But I feel like the Air Force burger is going to be the most all-American burger you can possibly have. I don't think there's anything weird you can do to it. Like, I feel like that literally has to be like I'm going Angus beef on that too. Like, I'm not going Wagyu beef. You can't do Wagyu on an all-American burger. So you got to do like, I'm going Angus beef on it. I'm going straight up American cheese on it too. Like, I'm not even going crazy with it. Give me some onion, some lettuce, some tomatoes, some pickle. Give me some ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, or you can do a burger sauce, whatever you choose. Just a basic burger. And I'm good. Oh, that's right. You did do a New Year's burger. I totally forgot about that. Anywho, I'm tired. Oh, that's right. Yes. Duh. My brain ain't working today. It's halfway there. So, anywho, thank you all for
39 at night. I can see why it ain't working.
God, I'm so tired too. I got to be at work like 6 tomorrow. So, yeah. So, anywho, y'all have a great night. We'll see you next year. Have a safe and happy New Year. Enjoy it with your families. Be safe with the fireworks. Don't pull a Jason Pierre-Paul and blow your fingers off. Be safe out there. Get ready for the cold weather coming in, because I know everybody's about to get some cold weather. It don't matter where you live in. That means you're probably going to be getting sick again soon. Have a great night. Thank you for watching. What you got, Chris? I can see it.
I like the cold weather because it kills germs.
That is true. It makes my sinuses hurt, but I do appreciate it. That is for sure. So have a safe and happy New Year. We'll see you Friday night with Connor Bowden on the show. Very excited to do that interview. So until then, follow us on social media. Follow us Golden Boot Podcast on Facebook. What is it? The G Boot Show on X or something like that. Golden Boot Cast or whatever the hell we are. I don't even know. Just look for our logo. You can't miss it. That's all I got for you. Thanks for an awesome 2024. Look forward to 2025. Go Tigers. Go Doors. F them all else. Have a good night.
We are the Golden Boot Podcast.